I'm E.G. Marshall. I've been waiting for you. Welcome to the world of suspense, imagination. A world where nothing is impossible and everything... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. I've been waiting for you. Welcome to the world of suspense, imagination. A world where nothing is impossible and everything is foolproof. At least that's what Peter Vincent thought, the hero of our tale. Peter Vincent is approaching middle age. Not quite there, but already beginning to experience the disillusions, the restlessness that comes from feeling we're capable of better things and fearing time will run out before we achieve them. But Peter Vincent, who lives by his wit, his charm, his cunning, hit one day on a scheme that appeared to be his great triumph. Our mystery drama, Dressed to Kill, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Bob Juran and stars Robert Morse. It is sponsored in part by New Sugar-Free Diet 7-Up and Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One.
And now, another story of the ball and chain, as Kellogg's Special K presents The Library.
Welcome to the public library. May I help you, sir?
Yes, I'd like to check out... I'd like to check out Famous Laundromats of the World by Audrey Schnorbart.
Sir, excuse me, but isn't that ball and chain you're wearing just like the ones they use in the Kellogg's Special K commercial?
This ball and chain?
Yes, that one. How are you going to get rid of it?
Well, lots of good exercises, and by eating smart at every meal, starting with the Special K breakfast.
Don't you have to watch your calories?
Yes, and the Special K breakfast is less than 240 calories.
Less than 240 calories?
Right. A 1-ounce bowl of high-protein Special K, 4 ounces of skim milk, tomato juice, and coffee. It's really tasty, and it's going to help me get rid of this ball and chain. I'd say it's long overdue, get it?
Your happy ending could begin with the Special K breakfast from Kellogg's.
North Jersey is certainly getting a higher yield this spring, especially with Suburban Savings Special High Yield Savings Certificate that you can raise for fun and profit. All you have to do is plant a modest $2,500 minimum in Suburban's limited issue 7.50% savings certificate. Then put your certificate in a nice safe place. Suburban takes care of the rest by compounding interest continuously from day of deposit paid quarterly. You'll get a nice healthy 7.90% effective annual yield on your 7.50% savings certificate when you let it grow from 4 to 10 years. Early withdrawal prior to maturity is, of course, subject to a substantial penalty. So for a nice healthy 7.90% annual effective yield, grow Suburban's 7.50% savings certificate for fun and profit at any Suburban savings office in Bayonne, Edgewater, Elmwood Park, Emerson, Hackettstown, Marks Plains, Nutley, Paramus, and Sparta.
There is no mystery about the morning when you come rambling with gambling. Good evening, mystery fans. This is John Gambling, and every morning, Monday through Saturday, here at WOR from 5 a.m. till 10, we get the crew together to try to put the morning together for you, to tell you what the weather's going to be like, whether there's heavy traffic coming into the city, whether the subways and the commuter trains are running. Bob Harris is in WOR's Weather Center every morning with all that very complicated equipment that he has to help prognosticate the day's weather. We cover sports completely with Don Cricky. In the news department, Peter Roberts, Henry Gladstone, and Harry Hennessy. And up in the helicopter, George Meade or Fred Feldman, keeping an eye on the traffic scene. So altogether, we do try to take any mystery out of the morning. And just to brighten up the beginning of your day a little bit, I think we have some kind of nice, listenable, and tuneful music. So tune in tomorrow morning or any morning for Rambling with Gambling. Now, back to the mystery.
What a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. And Peter Vincent is about to weave a tangled web of deception, the likes of which he has never tried before, and hopes never to have to try again. Our story begins in a cheap but clean and well-run apartment house on New York City's West Side.
Oh, Mr. Vincent.
Yes, Mrs. Gretsch.
It's the 5th of the month. Well, thank you, Mrs. Gretsch. Do you tell the time, too?
Look, I'll thank you not to be so smart when you're late with the rent. 2 months late at that.
Only 2 months this time. Things are looking up for you.
I got my bills to pay, too, you know. And everything going up.
Everything goes up around here except the heat. I've been meaning to speak to you about that.
There is an energy crisis. I have to conserve all
You'll have your own crisis if I catch pneumonia and can't work. I shall sue you, Mrs. Gretsch, for depriving me of my livelihood.
I'd like to know just what that is.
You know what I do.
Well, you call yourself an actor. Actors act. You haven't been in a show since you started living here.
Does that make me any the less an actor? We are all acting, Mrs. Gretsch. You, I, everyone. We're playing out our roles on this great stage. We are never really ourselves. We hide behind the masks, and we act out our little lives. I mean, you're acting. You don't want to press me for the rent, but you must. It's your role in life. So you step up on the stage as you are now, the star of this mini-drama, acting the part of the miserable, harassed landlady insisting on the rent. And you do your part extraordinarily well. Have you ever thought of going on the stage?
Well, my sister was always telling me I had a nice voice.
And she's right, she is. I may speak to my agent about you, yeah. I might just be able to get you a part.
But get me the rent instead.
Beautiful, Mrs. Gretsch, that was beautiful. You have a natural sense of timing. You'll make a wonderful heroine someday. You're past the ingenue roles, but still...
You have till the 10th, Mr. Vincent. Not a day after.
That's it, Mrs. Gretsch. Keep studying. Stupid old frump.
Hi, Pete.
Murray, what are you doing here?
Drinking your scotch.
I thought you were in Cleveland.
No, the show folded.
Oh, how'd you get in?
You gave me a key a year ago, remember?
Well, remind me to change the lock. I'm sick of your freeloading, Murray.
Look, just a couple of days till I get settled. I gave up my room when I went on the road.
You're not staying here.
Oh, come on, Pete. I'll pay half the rent.
Well, welcome home, Murray.
You're looking pretty good, Pete. You been eating regularly?
Off and on. I pulled a little flim-flam job a few months ago, paid the back rent.
What about acting? Any leads?
No, but I'm working on something, Murray, something really big. I'm sick of those ratty little deals for peanuts.
Oh, come on, not another con game.
The greatest, Murray. The one that'll set me up for life on that sunny little beach in Mexico. I'm going to pull one last gigantic hoax and then retire. I mean, just settle down for life. I've been thinking about it for months.
Great. What's the scheme?
I'm going to kill myself.
Well, that's one way to... You what?
I'm going to kill myself. But it won't be suicide.
You're going to kill yourself, but it won't be suicide.
That's right, Murray. And my wife will receive $50,000 in insurance.
Now, I know you're nuts.
I'm serious, Murray.
How can you be? You may go ahead and kill yourself, but your wife isn't going to get any $50,000. You're not even married. I'm going to have another martini while I try to focus in on this.
It has to work, Murray. It's foolproof.
Nothing is foolproof.
I've been looking at it from every angle, and the more I look, the more I'm convinced it's going to work. Now, Peter Vincent will die. His wife will disappear forever, and I'll come out of the whole thing with $50,000.
Let me get this straight. You're going to fake your own death and then impersonate your wife to collect the insurance?
Precisely. I've got a $25,000 double indemnity policy. I've had it for years. I got it back in the better days when I was working regularly and traveling a lot. My mother was a beneficiary. But after she died, I just never did anything about changing the policy. I kept it up.
You're not only out of work, you're out of your mind.
No, listen, Murray, when I thought of this thing last year, I went and changed the beneficiary on that policy. I made up a name, Tina Vincent. The beneficiary is Tina Vincent, wife of the deceased. I've just been waiting, letting enough time go by so it looks legitimate.
Well, it's a blockbuster, all right. If you get away with it, there are a lot of things to consider. How are you going to pass for a woman?
The impersonation is the main...
Yeah, that's it. Can you be convincing?
When I put my mind to something, I can be very convincing.
I don't believe it. Where did you learn to talk like that?
I used that voice in a nightclub act a couple of years ago.
Well, it's perfect. It's a perfect dame. Say something else.
It was sweet of you to invite me to dinner, Murray. Oh, Murray, pay the check and let's just get out of here.
Fantastic.
Well, the first thing to do now is create, Tina Vincent. Now, will you help me, Murray?
Hey, give me that voice again. That really spooks me, hearing that dame's voice coming out of you.
Well, that's because you haven't seen me at my best, Murray. Wait till I'm dressed for the part.
May I help you, sir?
Oh, yes. I was interested in these pantsuits.
Oh, well, these are on sale today. Is it a gift for your wife, perhaps?
Yes, you might say that. For my wife, yes.
Oh, well, nice. Oh, what's her size?
A size? Oh, about, like mine.
Like yours? Oh, rather tall, then, huh?
Decidedly.
Oh, let me see. I'd say about an 18 tall. And if it doesn't fit, you can always bring it back.
Fine.
Now, the suits on this rack are all size 18.
I'll take this blue, and how about that black velvet?
That was fast. You certainly know your wife's taste.
Yes, I do, rather.
All right, well, I'll have these boxed and gift wrapped. Will there be anything else, sir?
Yes, as a matter of fact, she's been wanting a new wig.
Oh, yes, sir. Step this way. Next counter down. Now, what does she wear? Blonde, brunette, black?
Oh, dear me, yes. Funny, I've never really noticed.
Oh, well, what's her coloring like? Fair? Dark?
Fair. Like mine, almost.
Oh, uh-huh. Oh, this frosted blonde would be perfect. Yeah. Oh, this one, yeah.
Yes, I think that would do.
Oh, here, just for fun. You try it on. Huh?
Oh, come on.
You say her coloring is like yours.
No, please, that's silly.
Oh, here. Let me just slip it over your head.
Ow.
Adjust it a little and...
What?
It's incredible, sir.
What's incredible?
Well, I don't know, this wig, I hope you'll forgive me for saying so, but...
What?
With that wig on, you could pass for a rather attractive woman.
Really?
Yeah, except for one thing.
And what's that?
Well, your mustache.
Well, Murray, how do I look?
Like a tall Doris Day.
Come on, will you? Come on, what have I forgotten? Now, what is wrong with this whole image?
Nothing. I gotta admit, it's perfect.
Yeah. Have I got on too much makeup?
No, I don't think so. Lots of women go in for heavy makeup.
Well, there's only one sure way to find out. The acid test.
Go out in public.
Precisely. Because I've got to be convincing as a woman before I've gone too far.
Where are you going to start?
Well, first I'm going to open a bank account. I've got to establish some sort of identity for Tina Vincent. Just impersonating a woman isn't good enough, because when I get down to the final act, applying for the insurance, I've got to prove that I really am Tina Vincent. I've got to have identification.
You sure have thought this thing out, Pete.
I've been planning it for almost a year. Well, I'm going to start with the bank. Lend me $50, will you? No, I promise you, you'll get it back in spades when this whole thing's over.
Yeah, when you're in Mexico, you mean.
Come on, Murray. Be a patron of the arts, huh? Where's your imagination? Now, come on, don't let a little thing like a few bucks keep us from carrying out one of the greatest schemes of all times.
No wonder you don't have to work. Okay. Here.
You won't regret it. You want to come along and watch the fun?
I wouldn't miss it for the world. I paid $50 for that reserved seat. Stage fright?
No. At this point, I have nothing to lose. Let's call it a first read-through.
Okay, give me that Tina voice again. You got to get in character.
Good afternoon. I'd like to open a savings account.
Perfect.
Is the wig straight?
Yeah, everything looks fine to me.
Okay, Murray. All right. All right, here I go. I beg your pardon?
Good afternoon, madam. May I help you?
Yes, I'd like to open a savings account.
Certainly. Sit down, please. Will this be an individual or joint account?
An individual. I'm starting to save a little for a surprise vacation for my husband in Mexico.
Well, that's very nice, very nice. May I have your name, Mrs.
Vincent. Tina Vincent.
All right, Mrs. Vincent, if you'll fill out both these cards. Name, address, social security number.
Social security number?
I beg your pardon?
Oh, a little catch in the throat. No, a social security number. No, I don't have one. I mean, my card must be at home. I haven't worked for so many years.
I see. Well, you can always send that in to us later.
Oh, thank heavens.
How much would you like to deposit?
Well, $50.
Very well, Mrs. Vincent.
You should have seen his face when I dropped back to my own voice for that horrible second.
Did he realize?
I don't think so. He was startled, but I carried it off. I have to do better than that, though, when I face an insurance company. I've got to be totally convincing.
Well, you just need more practice.
You're right, Murray. I've got to try and live an entire week as Tina Vincent. Everywhere I go, everything I do will be Tina Vincent.
Yeah, but I got my doubts, a lot of big doubts.
Why?
Well, maybe you can talk like a woman and dress up like one for a while. But I don't think you can keep up the pose. Sustain it, I mean.
That's what I want to find out, and I've got a great idea. This will be the test to end all tests. If I can fool that hawk-eyed superintendent, Mrs. Gretch, the toughest insurance man will be a pushover.
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Another brilliant piece of business, Murray. I just hope I can keep from laughing in her face, because I've got to fool her in order to live here this week as Tina Vincent. In fact, she doesn't know it, but she's going to be an unwitting supporting player in our little drama. And I do mean supporting, particularly if there should be an insurance investigation later.
Yeah, and that's a very likely possibility. I've been wondering how you plan to stage your own death.
That's Act 2, Murray. Now, let's establish the bereaved beneficiary first.
But there's got to be a body.
Yes, it is customary.
Insurance companies don't pay out until they're sure the policyholder is...
That's right, Murray.
Then, as I see it, if you're going to get away with this thing, you've got to get away with murder.
Indeed. Get away with murder. And get away with being a convincing Mrs. Tina Vincent. In order to get away with $50,000. A tall order for even the best actor or female impersonator, particularly when someone else is in on the whole scheme. But first things first. Let's see how well Peter Vincent makes out spending a week as Mrs. Vincent when we return shortly with Act 2.
It's safe to assume that some of you are listening to my voice from the inside of the wrong car. Not the wrong make, the wrong size. It's especially important these days that the cars we drive fit the way we use them. Now look around. If you've got more room than you've got passengers, maybe a smaller car would be better. If you've got wall-to-wall people, maybe the car is not big enough for the way you use it. And if you've taken the big car and left the small one for your wife to use for her carpools and shopping and Cub Scouts and whatever, well, we've got a message for you. If she hasn't given it to you already, make sure your car fits your lifestyle. Sometimes small is right. Sometimes big is right. Buick makes both right. From Opel to Electra 225, Buick has a car for the way you drive.
Hey, Mom, what's for dinner? Hey, Mom, what you got?
ShopRite's answer to what's for dinner this week is first cut choice grade beef chuck steaks, just 59 cents a pound. Shoulder steak, just $1.49 a pound. Nutritious young beef liver, 69 cents a pound. Fresh sweet corn, 10 ears for 99 cents. And price-conscious shoppers can save with Alba instant powdered milk. An 8-quart box is just $1.79 at ShopRite. That's well under 25 cents a quart. For more what's for dinner ideas, visit your nearest ShopRite and save.
She loves her family. She wants the best. She does all that she can do. She lets ShopRite do the rest. Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? ShopRite has the answer.
This is WOR New York, an RKO General Station, your station for Mystery Theater.
Peter Vincent, con artist, sometime actor, is preparing what he considers the greatest scheme of his career, impersonating his own beneficiary, Mrs. Tina Vincent, to collect his own insurance. But first, he must prove to others and to himself he can carry out the impersonation. So, for the next few days, Peter Vincent will disappear and Mrs. Tina Vincent will take over.
Who is it?
I'd like to see the superintendent.
What do you want?
I'm looking for a man named Peter Vincent. I was told he lives in this building.
Well, his name's on the mailbox, 2A. But I don't think he's in. I haven't seen him since yesterday.
Well, would you be kind enough then to let me into his apartment?
Oh, certainly not. I don't know you.
I'm Mrs. Vincent, his wife.
His wife? Hey, I didn't know he was married. He's lived here 2 years.
We're separated, but I'm still Mrs. Vincent.
Oh, glory be. What next from that man?
I know Mr. Vincent wouldn't mind your letting me in. He doesn't know I'm in town. I want to surprise him.
I'm afraid not, Mrs. How do I know he'd be glad to see you? Look, if he wants you in his apartment, he'll be the one to let you in.
Well, of all...
Well, how'd it go? Smooth, Murray, smooth. The old crow didn't bat an eyelash. To her, I'm a perfect stranger. If he wants you in his apartment, he'll be the one to let you in. That's just what she said. Come on. We have to arrange for my wife's lodging.
Where now?
That phone booth there. Hey, lend me a dime, Murray. I've got to make a call.
I'll put it on your bill.
Consider it an investment. I told you, you'll share in the spoils.
I hope you know what you're doing, because I sure don't.
Another scene in our little drama, Murray.
Hello?
Hello, Mrs. Gretch. This is Peter Vincent.
Oh, Mr. Vincent, where are you?
I'm out of town, Mrs. Gretch. I had an unexpected chance for a part, and I won't be back for at least a week. Would you keep an eye on my apartment for me?
I've done that already. There was a woman here not 5 minutes ago and said she was your wife.
Tina? Tina was there?
Oh, that's what she called herself. Is she really your wife, Mr. Vincent?
Yes, we're separated. I haven't seen Tina for years.
Oh, well, she wanted me to let her into your apartment to surprise you, but I wouldn't do it.
Oh, Mrs. Gretch, I wish you had.
What? You mean it's all right?
Well, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing. Tina and I are the best of friends, Mrs. Gretch. Look, if she should come back, if you see her again by any chance, please, let her in. In fact, she can stay there until I get back. Let her use my apartment, if she likes.
Well, all right, if you say so, Mr. Vincent. I hope you have a good run.
A what?
Oh, just a little show talk I picked up. You did say you're in play.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's going to be a very good run, Mrs. Gretch. In fact, it seems to be going beautifully.
Oh, just a minute, sir.
Yes?
I know you've been staying with Mr. Vincent, but now things have changed. He's out of town.
Yeah, I know.
And Mrs. Vincent is occupying the apartment.
Tina? You mean Tina's here?
And with Mr. Vincent away, I don't think...
Oh, don't worry, Mrs. Gretch. You didn't know. I'm Peter Vincent's brother-in-law.
What?
Yeah, Mrs. Vincent's my sister.
Oh. Well, I hope she's not here to make trouble. Mr. Vincent said they were separated.
Oh, don't worry. It's probably a reconciliation. They've always admired each other, even though they couldn't live together.
I certainly hope so.
Stupid old biddy. Tina, it's Murray.
Murray, surprise!
When did you get into town?
Just today. Come in. Oh, good show, brother dear.
You know, I'm beginning to enjoy this part.
Yes, keep you in practice.
And what's next for you?
Us, Murray. We're going out on the town tonight.
What?
That's right. We're going to an East Side bar, and here's what I want you to do.
Another martini, Murray, please.
Bartender, a martini for the lady. And let's make this the last.
Oh, Murray.
You've been drinking too much, and you know it.
Murray, please.
Look, I know when you've had too many martinis. I don't know why I'm sap enough to keep ordering them for you.
Murray, I am all right. You're the one.
I'm the one. I'm as sober as a judge, and I can see what's happening to you.
Murray, this is very...
Murray. That's all I ever hear from you. I'm getting out of here. I'm sick of you whining and complaining. Goodbye.
Murray!
Hey, honey.
What?
He ain't coming back. What do you drink?
I don't drink with strangers.
I'm Harry Watson. How do you do? You see, now we're not strangers.
No, I'm not interested.
Ah, come on. Good-looking dame like you. Man runs out on her. Come on, let's have a little fun.
No, please, you don't understand. It's not like that at all.
Baby, I know all about what it's like. Believe me. And you're something.
Oh, you really think so?
Baby, I know so. What's your name?
Oh, well, Tina.
Tina what?
Oh, just Tina.
It's a pretty name. Come on, let's have another drink and let's get acquainted.
Well, all right. Maybe just one.
Hey, bartender, another... What are you drinking?
Martini.
Yeah, a martini.
Harry, do you really think that I'm attractive?
Sure I do. Would I be buying you a martini if I didn't?
You're not just feeling sorry for me.
Nah, of course not. You're interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised if things got more interesting later.
Oh, you'd be surprised, Harry. Would you ever be surprised?
And then what happened?
I drank the martini and left. I proved my point. Tomorrow I'm going to apply for a Social Security number and keep on good terms with Mrs. Gretch. She's going to be important to us later on.
Look, Pete, don't you think you've carried the joke far enough?
What do you mean?
Look, you've proved you can be a convincing dame. It's been fun and funny. But you're not really serious about knocking some guy off and trying to make the insurance company think it's you.
Of course I'm serious. I might add that I am serious.
But that's murder.
Not really. Not with what I have in mind. Now stop worrying so much. Just think about that $50,000, and it's a lot closer than you think. I don't have to prove myself anymore, Murray. I can carry off the masquerade. The time has come for Act 2.
Act 2?
The victim. I have to find my corpse. We have to plan this carefully because when I leave here, I'll never return, you see, as Peter Vincent. Now, I want you to get a hotel room, some sleazy, out-of-the-way place where we can get past the desk clerk without being seen.
Whereabouts?
Near the Bowery, but not actually on it. Now, call me from there. I've got some preparations to make here, because today, Peter Vincent meets with his accident. Hello?
Pete?
Where are you, Murray?
The Hotel Matador, room 218.
I'll find it. Now, I'll meet you there in about an hour. Drop off the necessary things, and then, Murray, we'll go shopping for a corpse. What a neighborhood. Perfect hunting ground.
Yeah, if we get out alive.
They're all too drunk to care about anything but where their next drink is coming from. Look at that creature there. Let's try him.
You'll never get him on his feet.
You. Hey, wake up. Wake up. How would you like to make $10?
What, $10?
Enough to keep you in Muscatel for 2 weeks.
Hey, what do you guys want?
A little of your time.
I don't know you.
You will shortly, and all your troubles are going to be over.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Now, just come on. Come with us. We'll make you nice and comfortable.
Take it easy.
Isn't he perfect, Murray? He's so disgustingly depraved.
Yeah.
$10. For what?
For doing us and yourself a favor.
What's that?
Just please, come with us. Take it, Murray. Take his arm.
All
Take
right.
his arm. All right. Let's get him to the hotel. Can you see anyone in the lobby?
No, just the clerk at the desk.
Do you think you can distract him?
Well, what's the difference? This place is full of guys in this condition.
I don't want any suspicions aroused. I want to get up to that room and out again without being seen.
Wait a minute. The clerk's going toward the elevators.
Hey, what's this all about?
Shut up.
Huh?
He's gone up.
All right, now. Come on, now, move.
Take it easy.
Let's take the stairs. It's only one flight up.
I hope that clerk hasn't gone to the second floor. If we do meet anyone, just keep going.
I can't.
Shut up and keep moving.
All right, now, wait a second. I'll check the hall.
Okay, stop it now.
Okay. I'll run ahead and open the door.
All right. I don't see how anyone who doesn't eat regularly could have so much weight.
$10, huh?
Well, we made it.
All right, get him into that chair.
Yeah.
All right, now get the hot water going. My case has shaving cream, soap. I'll get these foul clothes off him. Oh, phew. A second thought. Murray, I'll run the tub. You undress him.
I'd never have believed it.
All it took was a shave, some cleaning up, my best suit, and he looks like a human being.
What's this all about? What?
It's just a joke on a friend. Now, look, here's a wallet. Now, lend me a 10 spot, will you, Murray? We did promise him. Now, here's your $10 in this wallet, see? Now, we'll just put it inside your coat like this, and you can keep the wallet, too, and the clothes. And there stands Peter Vincent. My clothes, all my identification, and heading for eternity. We'll wait till 5:15, the height of the subway rush hour.
This looks like home.
Move to the rear of the platform, Murray. That way, when the train passes us, it'll be going full speed.
Look, this is ridiculous, Pete. We got 200 witnesses.
Safety in numbers, Murray. We're lost in the crowd, and not one of them will know what's happened till it's all over. A man falls in front of a subway train. There'll be 30 different versions of what happened.
We should have done this at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, then we would have witnesses. We stand out like a red nose. Edge a little closer.
I want to lie down.
You will very soon. Murray, just before the train reaches the platform, let go of him. We both step back. When he totters and falls, we lose ourselves in the confusion.
Isn't there an easier way?
It has to be an accident to collect the double indemnity. And I don't want any body left to identify. Just the wallet and my identification.
Here it comes.
All right, a little closer to the edge. Now step back, Murray. Look, Murray. I'll meet you back at the hotel. Have another drink, Murray. You'll feel better.
Oh, it seemed kind of cruel.
He was standing too close to the track. He was unsteady on his feet.
Yeah, we put him there.
Look, will you forget him? That was Peter Vincent who went under the wheels of the train. If you want to feel remorse, just remember it's for your brother-in-law. Your dear sister's husband.
All right, don't worry. I'll play along.
Look, we're really in this for keeps, Murray. We have to go through with it all the way because Peter Vincent is... I can't ever be Peter Vincent again without admitting to murder.
Well, what do we do now?
Act 3, brother dear. Tina's going to get dressed, go back to her husband's apartment, and wait to be told she's a widow.
Peter Vincent has certainly got himself into a tangled web. But that unabashed self-confidence of his has seen him through many a tight squeeze. Let's see if it carries him through this one final scheme, his greatest hoax, as he calls it, to set himself up for life. I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
Ever had a tall, frosty glass of Amplitude? Well, if your beer is Budweiser, you've had it often. Amplitude is a fancy word for the entire taste phenomenon, the total experience of flavor. Next time you take a healthy swallow of Bud, watch what happens. Think about the sensations you're experiencing. Notice how the flavor of Bud comes on nice and easy. Not too strong, not too quick, just right. Notice the clean, crisp togetherness of Bud's taste. Everything in perfect balance, with no single element jumping out at you. And there'll be no aftertaste either, no hanging on. And you'll be refreshed and ready for another glassful. Actually, Bud drinkers have been experiencing Amplitude for years, but they never phrase it that way. They just say Budweiser, and that says it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
There are some things you can only get with TWA. Plans that save you time and money the most convenient way.
This year, if you're vacationing in the U.S., there's TWA's Free Wheeler plan. Here's what it gives you. for $16 a day per person when two people are traveling together, a Hertz Pinto with unlimited mileage, and a room at most Travelodges, Ramada Inns, or Sheraton hotels. There are a couple of conditions. You pay for gas and taxes, and you must return the car where you rented it. For full details of the $16 a day freewheeler plan, call your travel agent or TWA.
Hello there, mystery cuckoos. Oh, this is Gene Shepard. Oh, speaking of mysteries, as far as I'm concerned, the greatest mystery of them all is the one that you used to see in the old movies. You remember when you were a kid and you'd go on a Saturday afternoon, you'd see these movies with guys like Charlie Chan in them, and there would always be a scene where these people are living in a haunted house that was owned by the Duchess or the Countess, and there was reputedly ghosts or something terrible there. And this girl is asleep in this bed, and the wind is blowing the curtains. And suddenly, a panel slowly opens up back of her bed, and she's asleep, and a creeping claw comes out, reaching for her throat. Ah! Oh, great Scott. Oh. You'll hear the rest of the story tonight at 9:15 on the Gene Shepard Show, Monday through Friday, of course. The creeping claw will get you. It will get you if you don't watch it. So, Peter Vincent has been conveniently disposed of, to all intents and purposes, under the wheels of a speeding subway train. And now, Tina Vincent is back at the apartment, nervously awaiting the news of her husband's death.
Hello?
What's the word?
I told you not to call me tonight.
Well, I just want to know if anything's happened.
No, nothing yet. Now, I'll be in touch with you. Stay at that hotel. Look, there's the door. I've got to go.
Who is it?
Police.
Police? What is it, officer?
I'm Detective Sergeant David, ma'am. This is the apartment of Peter Vincent.
Why, yes, it is.
You are Mrs. Vincent?
Yes?
There's been an accident, Mrs. Vincent. I'll have to ask you to come down with us to headquarters.
Wait, what is it? Has something happened to Peter?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell me.
He fell in front of a subway train at the Times Square station. I know this is painful for you, Mrs. Vincent.
Yes, this is Peter's wallet, all right. The cigarette lighter I gave him for his birthday. And this is all that's left?
Well, there's no use asking you to identify the body.
What happened?
Well, until we find the complete report, there's nothing official. The witnesses' stories differ. Now, all we know is that he fell in front of that train. We don't know how or why. Do you know where your husband was going?
No, not really. He just said he was heading downtown.
Did he often do that? I mean, go without telling you where he was going.
Well, Peter had been drinking heavily for several days.
Oh, well, that's important. It may have a strong bearing.
Do you suppose he passed out?
We'll have to hold judgment on that, Mrs. Vincent. We may need more information from you.
Yes, of course.
Well, that's all for now. We'll get you back home, unless there's some other place you want to go. A friend's, perhaps.
No, thank you. I'll go back to the apartment. Call my brother to be with me.
Stop worrying, Murray. You're absolutely in no danger. I'm the one with my neck out.
Suppose there is some way to identify that bum.
Well, there isn't. The police told me that themselves. There wasn't enough left to identify. That's exactly what I wanted. Besides, it's been 3 days. Hold it.
I've got to get in character. Hello?
Mrs. Vincent? Sergeant David again.
Yes, Sergeant.
We're closing the file on Mr. Vincent. Several witnesses corroborated the fact that Mr. Vincent was unsteady on his feet, and a lab report showed a high level of alcohol in parts of the body. Death was accidental, with inebriation a contributing factor.
I see.
If you'll come down to headquarters and sign a few papers, we'll release the remains for burial, and you'll receive the death certificate. You'll need that for any insurance Mr. Vincent may have had.
Yes, thank you. I'll be there this afternoon.
Thank you, Mrs. Vincent. And I'm sorry.
Case closed. Witnesses said he was unsteady on his feet. Death was accidental, etc., etc., etc. Hey, we have to arrange for my burial, Murray. We've got to go all the way to keep up appearances. But, hey, look, Murray, do me a favor. Make it simple, Murray. A simple burial. I really would have wanted it that way.
Yes, who is it?
I'm from the Independent Insurance Company. I'm looking for Mrs. Tina Vincent.
Oh, just a minute. I'm Mrs. Vincent.
May I come in?
Yes, certainly.
Richard Stevens, Mrs. Vincent, my card. First, I want to offer my sympathy.
Thank you.
I know these times are hard to live through, but the living must go on living.
Yes.
Mrs. Vincent, you made a claim on your husband's policy with our company. Term life policy number H22098, $25,000, double indemnity.
Yes, is anything wrong?
Oh, no. The death certificate was in order. Premiums were up to date. I'd just like to ask a few questions, if you don't mind.
I'm afraid that I don't understand.
Well, you see, Mrs. Vincent, in accidents of this kind, we just want to rule out certain exigencies.
Well, if you have any questions about my husband's death, I'm sure you'll find the answers in the police report.
Not all of them. Was your husband given to heavy drinking, Mrs. Vincent?
Mr. Vincent drank at times, yes.
Was he disturbed about anything in particular?
Mr. Stevens, if you're trying to suggest my husband's death was a suicide, you are very mistaken.
Well, we always try to get to the bottom of accident cases when there's double indemnity involved. But I think you have a legitimate claim.
There's no further problem, then?
I don't think so. I'll be running along.
When can I expect the check?
Well, we'll have it out to you before the end of the week. Good day, Mrs. Vincent.
Goodbye.
Oh, excuse me. You've been to see Mrs. Vincent. Are you a doctor?
No.
Oh, well, I'm Mrs. Gretch, the superintendent. How is she? She seems to have held up well so far, poor thing.
Oh, she seems well. How long have the Vincents lived here, Mrs. Gretch?
And who are you to be asking?
I'm investigating her insurance claim.
Ah. Well, if it'll help Mrs. Vincent get what's coming to her, I'll be glad to help, too. I guess it won't hurt to answer your questions.
Was Mr. Vincent a heavy drinker?
Oh, not that I know of. Of course, I don't snoop into the tenant's business.
How about Mrs. Vincent?
Well, I don't know much about her. She only just got here.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, you see, they've been separated. She only arrived here a week ago for a reconciliation, her brother said.
Her brother?
Yeah. He and Mr. Vincent are good friends.
I see. Well, thank you, Mrs. Gretch. You've been very helpful.
Calm down, Dick.
Hank, I just know this dame and her brother did that Vincent guy in for the insurance. It all adds up. They were separated. All of a sudden, she shows up on the scene. Boom, he's and she's $50,000 richer.
Where's your proof?
I haven't got any. But I'm going to do a little checking on Mrs. Vincent.
The guy's death was accidental. Now, how can you prove she had anything to do with it?
That's what I'm paid to find out.
This is the first time I've seen you lose your cool.
I'm sick of hanging around like this, but I don't dare let down the masquerade. I want to get that money and get out of here.
Maybe you should have gone down to the insurance company.
Yes, who is it?
Richard Stevens from Independent Insurance.
Just a minute. Come in.
Thank you.
This is my brother, Mr. Wilcox, Mr. Stevens.
How do you do?
How do you do?
I'm sorry for the delay, Mrs. Vincent, but as I said, we have to be careful.
When can I expect the money, Mr. Stevens?
Well, in the next mail. Now, if you'll just sign this form.
Very well. Anything to get this over with.
Sign here and here.
I hope this is the end of it.
So do I. Oh, my pen, please.
Yes.
I hope I haven't inconvenienced you, but you do understand.
My sister's been under a great strain, Mr. Stevens.
Yes, I imagine she has. Well, good day. and good luck.
There's something in his manner I don't like.
He's paid to be suspicious.
Well, he's sure earning his money.
Murray, here it is, the check, $50,000.
I don't believe it.
Mexico, here I come, Murray. I'm on my way to the bank. Make me a plane reservation for Acapulco. Now, I'll be right back to give you your split, and then I'm splitting for sunny Mexico.
No, we're going to the bank.
You don't trust me, eh?
Not at this point in time, no.
You know, you are totally unprincipled, Murray. But what would I have done without you? Come on, I'm not even packing. You're welcome to the apartment, the furniture, and Mrs. Gretsch.
Thanks.
Now for my final performance.
There you are, Mrs. Vincent. 50,000 in 50s and 100s. And I can't tell you how sorry I am about your husband. You were saving for a vacation, weren't you?
Yes, I'm surprised that you remember.
Well, again, my sympathy. And good luck.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mrs. Vincent.
Oh, Mr. Stevens.
Did you cash the check, Mrs. Vincent?
Why, yes.
Okay, Hank.
You're under arrest.
What is this?
We'll talk about it at headquarters. You're under arrest for suspicion of fraud and murder.
You can drop the pose now, Mrs. Vincent.
This is preposterous.
Yes, it is. And so is this.
Stop my hair.
Your wig, Mr. Vincent. And my compliments. You're a most convincing actor.
I was afraid of this.
How did you know?
We were ready to pay the claim until I learned that your wife had just arrived in town.
Mrs. Gretsch.
Yeah, some support.
I thought Mrs. Vincent and her so-called brother here had killed you for the insurance. So I decided to do some checking up on Mrs. Vincent. I needed her fingerprints, and I got them from the pen she, or rather you, signed these forms with. Remember?
Yes.
Now it happens that in checking out the deceased Mr. Vincent, I learned he applied for a passport some years back. I had his fingerprints, too. And what do you think I discovered?
I can hardly guess.
That the prints on both Mr. Peter Vincent and Mrs. Tina Vincent were identical.
How extraordinary.
So I knew what your hoax was, Mr. Vincent, because no matter how much a man and wife share in a marriage, they can never share the same fingerprints.
Peter Vincent's greatest hoax indeed proved to be his last. It's too bad he cashed that insurance check, because until then, it was really only attempted fraud. But then I wonder if that isn't exactly what the insurance man wanted him to do. And, of course, there was murder to answer for. If there is a lesson here somewhere, I suppose it's always be yourself. Unless, of course, you know where to pick up an extra set of fingerprints. I'll be back shortly.
I want that sinus medicine.
Headache tablets?
No, sinus medicine. Sinus tablets. Helps the headache and the pressure.
Oh, you mean sign-off?
Exactly.
Headache pain is one thing. A sinus headache is something else. Sometimes your whole face can seem to throb with pain. You want relief. Take Sign-Off tablets. Sineoff, the sinus medicine that gives you a full dose of pure aspirin plus a sinus drainer. Sign-Off, the sinus medicine that helps relieve sinus pain while you drain. And Sign-Off doesn't stop there. Have you tried Sign-Off Sinus Spray, the fastest known form of sinus congestion relief? It works in seconds. That's Sign-Off Sinus Spray. When sinus flares up, use Sign-Off tablets and spray, only as directed.
Sineoff.
Sign-Off.
Exactly.
Sign-Off, the sinus medicines in the bright red box.
Hello, Ms. Goldilocks here, and welcome to my professional taste testing laboratory. Oh, Papa Bear, could you bring that case of sugar-free Diet 7-Up over here?
Another case? Miss Goldilocks, you're drinking the sugar-free Diet 7-Up like there's no tomorrow. You can't still be taste testing it.
Oh, no, Papa Bear. Sugar-free Diet 7-Up has already earned my seal of approval. It's fresh, light, natural, delicious. I drink it because I love its taste. Now hurry up.
Okay, here.
This sugar-free diet 7-Up really tastes delicious. Ladies, if you're tired of switching from one diet drink to another, take some advice from Ms. Goldilocks. Try sugar-free diet 7-Up and you'll say, yes, this one's just right.
I'll bear witness to that, Goldie.
Five-borough Buick dealers are beating the drums for their new trade-in posts. That big car of yours, the one you thought you couldn't give away, well, they want to buy it. You loved that big car when you bought it back in 70 or 71. It served you long and well and cost you hard-earned dollars. Now you figure it's time to trade, but everyone's telling you that big cars are worthless. No one wants a big used car. Not true. Your five-borough Buick dealer needs used cars. Big ones, small ones, all sizes. This very minute, he'll give you hundreds of dollars over your car's listed book value as a trade-in on any new Buick, from Electra to Apollo and even on the Opal. So visit a five-borough Buick dealer today, where you'll get more money for your car and more car for your money.
Your trade-in post in Forest Hills is Maury Buick at 11827 Queens Boulevard at Union Turnpike. In Brooklyn, it's Richard Buick at 5102 Kings Highway.
Akko and Earl Hammond. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. Radio Mystery Theater was sponsored in part by Sign-Off, the Sinus Medicines, Anheuser-Busch Incorporated, Brewers of Budweiser, and the Kellogg Company, makers of Kellogg's Special K cereal. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
The WOR Mystery Theater was brought to you by ShopRite Supermarkets, where you get a lot more for a little less. And by Suburban Savings, with offices throughout North Jersey. The preceding Mystery Theater program was furnished by the CBS Radio Network.
This is Sherry Henry, and paranoia is the subject of my Friday show at 2:15.
WOR New York.
I'm Fulton Lewis in the Mutual Broadcasting System studios in Washington, D.C. Now, my commentary. There were a lot of new developments on the impeachment and White House Watergate tapes fronts today. First, and perhaps foremost, the House Judiciary Committee notified the president today that it might consider his refusal to supply subpoenaed Watergate evidence an indication that the material is damaging to his position. Also on the committee's agenda was consideration of issuing subpoenas for still more material for its impeachment inquiry. In its letter to the president, the committee also warned that his refusal to obey its subpoena could be taken as a ground for impeachment. The letter, approved by a 28-10 vote, called the president's refusal a grave matter. It then said, quote, "In meeting their constitutional responsibility, committee members will be free to consider whether your refusals warrant the drawing of adverse inferences concerning the substance of the materials, and whether your refusals in and of themselves might constitute a ground for impeachment." After that committee vote, White House Press Secretary Ron Ziegler said that the committee's contention is not a valid inference. He added, "A vote on impeachment should not be based on an inference. It should be based on a complete assessment of the information before the committee." The committee, meeting in open session the day after it completed the first phase of its impeachment inquiry, rejected proposals for a harsher response and also to get a court ruling on the controversy. Alabama Democrat Representative Walter Flowers called the letter a reasonable response to what I feel is an unreasonable response by the White House. Illinois Republican Representative Robert McClory said that in subpoenaing tapes of Watergate conversations, the committee acted only out of duty, not to strengthen or weaken the office of the presidency. He added, "We acted to expedite the resolution of our inquiry, not to delay it. We acted ultimately to restore confidence in the office, not to destroy confidentiality." Asked what the practical effect of sending that letter would be, John Doerr, the chief counsel for the impeachment inquiry, said, "The legal effect of this letter will be to put the President of the United States on notice that the committee has concluded that he has disobeyed its subpoena. In a letter to Chairman Peter Rodino, dated May 22nd, Mr. Nixon said that he would not obey committee subpoenas demanding tapes of 11 Watergate conversations and records of presidential appointments over an 8.5-month period. The president wrote to Rodino, quote, "The committee has the full story of Watergate insofar as it relates to presidential knowledge and presidential actions. Production of these additional conversations would merely prolong the inquiry without yielding significant additional evidence." The president said he not only would not produce the subpoenaed material, but that he would reject demands for Watergate evidence that may be called for in such further subpoenas as may hereafter be issued. There was one other development today on the Watergate front. U.S. District Court Judge Sirica refused to allow the House impeachment inquiry to hear portions of 4 tape recordings, for which President Nixon has claimed executive privilege. The judge said that he was actually powerless to meet the request of the committee that was made orally on Tuesday in a closed chambers conference. The judge last December 19th upheld the privilege claims regarding the 4 tapes. The committee had asked all federal judges with Watergate and related cases to allow it access to material sealed from public record. Judge Sirica said that he had honored most of the requests in cases before him after conferring with the White House, the prosecution, and defense attorneys. The originals of the 4 tapes involved 2 conversations on June 20th of 1972 and 1 each on June 30th and September 15th are all in Judge Sirica's private custody. Copies of the tapes, minus the portions deemed privileged by the judge, went to the grand jury and to the House Judiciary Committee. From the Mutual Studios in Washington, I'm Fulton Lewis, and that's the top of the news as it looks from here.
And now, Mystery Theater.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of terrifying imagination. The fear you can hear. No breath of it yet as we begin our tale and meet Stephen and Simon Fairley. The occasion is solemn, as death should be. But all else for these identical twins is a wild sense of freedom and expectation, with no hint of the dark disasters already forming as they listen to the words of their father's last bequests.
And that the whole of my estate shall be disposed of as follows. To Stephen Fairley, my firstborn son, I leave all my worldly goods in entirety.
Well, thanks a hunk for nothing, dear old Dad.
There is a clause that refers to you, Simon.
Then let's hear it.
To my second-born, Simon, I leave only advice. Mend your ways. It is inconceivable to me, and has been most of my life, that you could be brother to Stephen, much less his identical twin.
Now, that's enough, Mr. Holcomb.
Well, there are some small bequests.
No, we can take them up later. I'm really sorry, son.
Well, so am I, Stephen. I never expected the old crook to outfox me. I hope he rots in hell.
That's a damnable thing to say.
Precisely. Since this family long ago decided I'm the devil's own, why shouldn't I be his advocate? Or apostate? To hell with us all, Stephen. And may I be the last to join you.
Our mystery drama, And Death Makes Even Stephen, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Michael Tolan and Paul Hecht. It was true of the Fairley twins. Physically, no one could ever tell them apart. But their personalities, that was something else again. Stephen, the quiet, the considerate, the steady, the accountable. Simon, the wild, the unpredictable, the often cruel, the man of success in nothing. Except for physical resemblance, These two men from the same mother seemed the antithesis of each other.
Aren't you going a bit heavy on that, Simon?
Oh, just getting all I can, brother dear, while the getting is good. Now that I'm a pauper, I must make the most of every opportunity.
Now, don't be a fool. Here, and give me that.
Oh, such a waste. But then you can afford it.
You've had enough today. Besides, I must talk to you.
Oh, you mean there may be a chance that I'm not to be cast out and told never to darken the door again?
Knock it off, Simon. I got to talk to you, seriously. And for Pete's sake, sit down.
No, I think I prefer to face the coup de grace, standing, back to the wall, unblindfolded and unafraid.
Suit yourself, but quit clowning and stay away from the booze.
Okay, Stevie, forgive me. It was just Dad's will. I know he didn't exactly approve of me, but wow. Finding out how much really threw me for a loop.
It isn't as bad as it seems. There was a letter to me. He didn't want to leave you with nothing, Simon, and he's asked me to set up a trust to be administered by me to provide you with a decent income.
Well, now I think I will sit down. How much?
The trust or the income?
No, the money in the pocket, my 1 hour older brother. That's what I get while you're alive, right?
Yes, $1,000 a month, tax-free.
12,000 shimmering simoleons a year. That's a generous bequest from a man who could have bought Rhode Island and still have had enough left over to cut the national debt in half.
Well, what would you have expected him to do?
What he should have done, considering who we are.
What?
Cut the estate right down the middle. Left us each a half.
You know why he'd never have done that.
Oh, yes, only too well. I was 10 before I was old enough to latch onto the truth. Why, you were always the favorite. No, favorite isn't even the word. You know he always blamed me for Mother's death. He hated me.
That isn't true.
Then why do
the
you suppose...
shoe was somehow on the other foot. Your whole life, Si. Expelled from school after school, the girls, the car accidents, robberies, beating up women, all the things he had to cover
yes,
for you.
Yes, to save the precious Fairley name. All the things I did to get his attention. To have him treat me like a human being instead of a murderer.
You've been drinking too much.
Oh, no, Stevie boy. This is Simon Cold Sober. Simple Simon, who couldn't have his only parents' love, so he didn't know any better thing to do than to reach out any way to get him to even notice
We
me.
spent most of our lives in boarding schools. Do you think he offered me so much
Yeah,
more?
only the whole ball of wax.
I was talking of love.
That's a word with no meaning in this house.
Even between us.
What do we really know about each other? Except as children, we've been separated most of the time. And I always managed to get the short end. Who was drafted while you and Dad lived at home and you joined the business while I crawled on my belly with the VC trying to do what my father didn't have the nerve to do. Get rid of me.
None of that was my fault.
No. But Becky was something else again.
You were missing in action. Reported killed. It was over 2 years, Si. I loved Becky, too, and she turned to me.
Yeah, too bad I returned before the marriage had taken place. Still, in my condition then, it was hard to think of us as identical twins. 40 pounds difference in weight made quite a difference, huh? So she stuck with you, and you won, as always. Which brings us back to the immediate problem. Are you ready to cut the estate right down the middle and give me half?
Don't be ridiculous.
But you are the brother who is all love.
The money isn't dollars and cents, Simon. It's the shipping business, the holding company, the import-export exchange, 100 interlocking parts.
All right, then buy me off. $1 million, a couple of million, out of those nice, anonymous, numbered Swiss bank accounts. And then you can do what my father longs his whole life to do. Forget I ever existed. Or that I still do.
No way. Now, in 3 to 5 years, you'd blow it all on women and every grifter who got next to you with his get-rich-quick scheme. No. Father was right. I may have found him hard to love.
Oh, you worked hard enough to toady your way into his affections.
Perhaps I was sorry for him. Now, who is to say which of us caused Mother most harm, caused her to die in childbirth? Yeah, past history. Well, now there are only 2 of us. Now, come on, Si, won't you accept Dad's suggestion and mourn him in some decency?
$12,000 a year? I can't live on that.
It's free and clear. You have the house to live in, food, no living expenses.
All right, suppose I accept.
We'll make it all legal. The trust can revert to you, if you will, by your 35th birthday.
And Becky?
She's already made her choice.
But what?
Well, since your unexpected return and Father's death have delayed our marriage, perhaps it's only fair. Look, there's no way I can prevent you seeing her again, and now that you're back to yourself physically, I suppose you ought to. You know our engagement party is a week from tomorrow, but she won't be back from New York till then. In spite of Father's death, we've decided not to call it off. You're invited. And if you think you can replace me as the prospective groom, what can I do to prevent you? But as far as Becky is concerned, if you hurt her in any way, twin brother or not, I'll kill you. Oh, now I must see about the funeral arrangements.
Not you, dear brother. I'm the one with everything to gain. If only I knew the way.
Steve, why are you so late?
Would you believe a flat tire tonight of all nights? And Becky,
well, it doesn't matter now that you're here. But you've got to help me, darling. We're going to have to make a decision.
About what?
Kiss me first.
I don't need any invitation for that.
You've never kissed me like that before.
There's never been an occasion quite like this.
Well, it looks as though it isn't going to be the occasion we planned it to be.
What does that mean?
It's Father. You know how uptight he can get over nothing.
Nobody better. I grew up with one of my own.
I never heard you talk like that about your father before.
Oh, I just meant the generation gap.
Well, maybe that's what it is with Father. He's just laid it out flat. No engagement tonight, no announcement, nothing.
Then what's the party supposed to be for?
It isn't even a party anymore. It's a sort of memorial service for his old friend. He said it would be an insult to Justin's memory to have gaiety and fun so soon after his funeral. But I want us to be engaged. I don't want to wait.
Look, I have an even better idea.
What?
Let you and me slip out right now. Forget the engagement and get married.
But how? We have no license or...
Look, we're less than 20 miles from a state where all we need is the fee and 2 witnesses.
Oh, you really bowl me over, Stephen. That's more the kind of thing Simon would do.
Well, Simon was a bit of a whack, I guess.
Simon was a lot worse than that. There are things I could tell you about your brother. Well, that's past history. How is he now?
The very picture of health.
It's unbelievable. When he got back from prison camp, I could hardly recognize him.
He had a rough time.
I know. And that's why I was so ashamed of myself for...
For what?
Don't tell this to anyone, Steve. But I always used to be so scared after Simon and I had broken off and it was you and me.
Scared of what?
Just hold me. You're so uncannily alike. Even I, who know you both so well, was scared I might not be able to tell the difference. Oh, darling, what a terrible thing to have to say or even think.
Don't think it. Put it out of your thoughts.
I can't. It's eerie. It's terrifying to even consider I could ever mistake my kind, gentle, loving Stephen for that wild, brutal twin who would destroy his...
Shh, darling. Don't look back. Kiss me, and then let's take off together.
Oh, Steve, I can't. Not with the guests
then kiss
here.
Me.
No, not when...
I said kiss me.
You're not Stephen. Stephen would never... Stephen.
I've been looking for you everywhere, Becky.
Oh, I wish you'd found me sooner.
What's going on here?
Well, it doesn't matter now that you're here. Seeing you together, there's no doubt, but apart...
What is it? Look, if that lousy brother of mine...
Stephen, don't be silly. He was just congratulating me.
It's a little enthusiastic for just an engagement, wasn't it?
I haven't told you the news yet, Stephen. It isn't our engagement we're announcing tonight.
What?
It's our wedding, and as soon as possible, unless you object.
Oh, Of course not, but your father...
You leave him to me. I'll arrange everything.
You lead, I'll follow. When's the day?
Just as fast as we can get the license. Like day after tomorrow, or the one after that at the latest. I wish you didn't have to go, Steve. We should have been the party tail enders.
I gotta get Simon home. He's practically out cold. Come on, Simon. Come on, get in.
Yeah, no, the driver's seat.
You're in no condition to drive.
Well, you're a lousy driver. I'm better at the wheel than you, drunk or sober.
Would you get in the car?
Yeah.
He's out cold. I hope someone's up to help lug him up to bed. Well, good night, darling.
Good night. Drive carefully. There's a fog coming up.
Yeah, I will. Goodbye, my almost wife.
Goodbye, my almost husband.
I'll show them off.
What?
Yeah, I'll have her if I want. I'll take everything if I want. You can't do it to me.
Well, just shut up, Simon, will you? Just go back to sleep.
Huh? Hey, the VC got a roadblock, Lieutenant.
Huh?
Yeah, I feel it in my bones right around the next bend. To stop the convoy. I'm going to stop the... Oh! Steve. Where are we?
All right. Take it easy, Simon. We're just on the way home.
How come I'm not driving?
Because you passed out.
Well, the road. Where's the road? We're off the road.
Cut it out, you fool. It's just fog.
No, off the road. Back to the left.
Would you let go of the wheel?
Back to the left.
Get a slow still.
You gotta go left.
Going right into the ditch. Will you let go?
After the protesting scream of rubber, the quiet in the forest is a stillness so thick it could almost be touched. A rabbit stands frozen before flight. The birds perch on the limbs, heads cocked, as if waiting to decide which direction danger will come from. The only thing moving now is one of the twins, climbing from the twisted wreck. But which one? I'll return shortly with Act 2. The birds have risen and are off in a whir of wings. The rabbit has long since reached the safety of his warren before Simon Fairley has determined that the blood dripping in his eyes is from a minor gash in the forehead, and the rest of his aches and pains are just contusions and bruises. Only now does he go to look at his brother, pinned between the steering wheel and the seat cushion.
Steve, are you all right? You're not. You can't be. It would solve everything. It would all be mine, and no blame for me. He was driving. Steve, can you hear me? It's so difficult to get at your heart to hear. I can't feel any pulse. Dead. No more second-class citizen. I'd be number one at last. The house, the money, even... No, not Becky. She's beyond me. Unless I could get away with it. I already did before I got careless and Steve turned up. Yes, that's it. That's the way. Make an exchange. Just get Steve out of his seat into mine. The wheel hasn't got him pinned too tight. No. There. He's coming loose. That's it. There. It's going to work. It's all going to be mine.
What happened?
Steve, you're alive.
Yeah, I guess so. How are you? Hey, you're bleeding.
Huh? Oh, I just cut my head a little. It's nothing.
Oh, I can't get up. I think I sprained my ankle. Maybe broken it. Here, give me a hand, Si. Some sort of jagged rock under my back. Could you move it or help me up?
Yeah, let me see. Oh, it's just a rock. Let me get rid of it and then... Get rid of it? Or use it?
What are you waiting for?
I'm not waiting any longer.
Well, then, for the love of...
This time, you are, but not Stephen. Simon. No time to wait around. There's plenty to do before someone finds you. Go around and break the windshield. No, not from the outside. The inside. Now, get Steve into my seat and get into the driver's seat till someone finds me.
All right, fellas, finish up with the pitches and then get those two guys free.
Yeah.
Now, don't try to move them. The ambulance will be here any moment. You can back down there. Okay, miss, nothing for you. Move along.
Oh, Sergeant, please. You've got to let me get through to Stephen.
Stephen who?
Stephen Fairley. I heard about the accident.
You know Stephen Fairley?
We're going to be married next week.
Okay, cut your motor. Come on out. Look, Miss...
Elizabeth Rundell.
Oh, sure. I thought I recognized you.
Well, what is it, Sergeant? Can't you take me to the car? Well, he's not badly hurt.
Look, Miss Rundell. Do you happen to know who was driving the car?
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. It was Stephen.
You sure of that?
Quite. They'd only just left an engagement party at my house, and Simon had too much to drink, so Stephen took the wheel. They look so like each other, I can't blame you for not being...
They don't look nothing like each other now, lady.
Well, they're not... Stephen isn't dead.
The passenger is dead. The driver is alive.
Oh.
That's your guy. How bad off he is, we won't know till we get him to the hospital.
Nurse?
No, Steve. It's me. It's Becky.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you want the nurse?
No, it's just this bandage. It's half over my eyes. You'll be able to tell me from Simon from now on easily with this scar I've got over my eyes.
Haven't they told you about Simon yet?
What do you mean, told me? He wasn't... Oh, my God, now I remember. I was half out when they found me, but his head must have gone right through the windshield. Is he dead?
Yes.
Oh, that poor, foolish kid. It's all my fault. I should have put the seatbelt on.
Oh, darling, don't blame yourself. Just tell me what happened.
It was the damn fog and Simon's drinking. I was taking it quite easy, but you know that big hollow on Hillsdale Road shortly after Gray's Corners?
Mm-hmm.
Well, just as we hit that, the fog was like a smoke screen. And at the same time, Simon woke up from some drunken dream about Vietnam and went crazy. He grabbed the steering wheel and threw us right off the road and into the tree before I had a chance to brake. The wheel and the seatbelt saved me. Although I did take a pretty good crack across the forehead, but Simon...
Well, forget about that now, dear. It's over and done with. Just let's get you well.
Oh, I'm fine, Becky. I've gotten a clean bill of health. Nothing broken, just a few bruises and a little embroidery above my eyes. You think you can manage a slightly piebald groom with a bandage headband?
Oh, now look, Steve, we can't have the wedding as we planned it now.
Why not?
Well, how would it look?
I don't care how it looks. It was my father and brother, and there was little love lost among us. I can tell you the truth now, dear.
But I thought you and your father...
My father was a hard man. Selfish, domineering, insensitive. He was more like a machine than a man. He was proud of me not because I was his son, but because I was his heir. Something to perpetuate the Fairley name. Some sort of pseudo-immortality.
Well, I'll make it up. I'll make it up to you. The past, Steve. Our future will be a long and lovely one.
Huh. With no twins?
Oh, well, I can't promise that?
Well, they skip generations. Now, look, you run along and plan something lovely to wear for tonight.
Tonight?
Yes, darling. I've already arranged the whole thing with cook and butler. You and I are having our engagement dinner alone at the house tonight. I'll send Gray with the car to pick you up at 7:30.
And please forgive me for troubling you with affairs of state, so to speak, the very day you're out of the hospital.
That's all right, Mr. Holcomb, but I am a little short of time.
Yes, of course, by all means. Now, what I need is a number of signatures from you.
Signatures?
No, just some legal papers and certain certified checks which can't wait.
Damn. Well, look, you'll have to give me a day or so until they can take the bandage off this right hand of mine. I can't sign anything until they do.
Oh, my apologies, of course. I hadn't realized, of course, everything can be delayed. Except for one thing.
What?
Well, there's a piece of correspondence I don't quite understand. Apparently some sort of a private deal between you and Pesin Joglu and Company.
Who?
Pesin Joglu and Company, a Turkish import-export firm with whom we have some dealings. You know, Persian rugs, tabourets, ancient jewelry, inlaid cabinets, silk screens, objects of many descriptions.
Yes.
But I don't know what consignment this letter, opened by mistake after your father's death, refers to.
Well, damn this forehead bandage. You, read it to me.
Oh, yes, very well. Omitting the formal address, it reads, Dear Stephanos, we are still awaiting payment consignment YB382-7. We are informed that delivery has been received. Unless your check for $48,000 or equivalent reaches us within the week, we will be forced to take action against you. We know this must only be an oversight. Yours sincerely, Demetrius Pesin Joglu.
Well, why don't you just pay it?
Oh, Mr. Faraday, no one else in the company knows anything about this consignment, except you.
Me? Oh, well, of course. Look, it's a perfectly normal deal. Just pay him the money.
Oh, a check that size would have to be countersigned by you, sir, and with your hand.
Well, by tomorrow I may be able to manage. Have we time?
Oh, according to the letter, to the end of the week or beginning of next. I don't think it's that important. All that puzzles me is the nature of such an expensive secret and, shall we say, a personal consignment.
I don't think I have to account to you for that.
Oh, not to me, but eventually when the books are...
If you must know, it was a wedding present for my wife. Wife-to-be, that is. It was my father's idea. A necklace. Apparently he got sick before he issued the check. Is there any reason why I can't close this matter?
Oh, no, not at all. Everything is yours now, Stephen, eh? Well, now, I mustn't delay you. You will be postponing the wedding this Saturday, I suppose.
No.
Well, but there's scarcely time for your brother's funeral.
It was Simon's desire to be cremated. It's already been done. There will be no funeral.
Ah, I see. Perhaps you're right, Stephen. There's been enough sorrow for you in the past few days. You have a right to some happiness.
That briefcase is very heavy. I'll carry it to your car for you.
Well, perhaps it's better I leave it here. Then you can sign at your leisure.
Good idea. And now,
Oh, yes. Now, of course, I must be off. Well, I expect you'll be taking a honeymoon, you and Becky. So we won't be seeing you at the office for quite a while.
No, not for quite a while. Here you are, Mr. Holcomb. Let me help you in.
Thank you. Yeah. Now, call me as soon as you're ready with those signatures.
The signature. I'd better get up to Steve's room and start learning to copy it. And what the devil is that business with the trade? I've got to get away from here fast. There are too many things I don't know about Steve. Everything's working too well to make any mistakes now. I guess I have time to go through Steve's desk before I have to get dressed. Yeah.
locked.
Naturally, Simon. Among your other unpleasant characteristics, you've always been a sneaky little snoop.
Steve!
Not exactly in the flesh, of course, thanks to you, but Steve just the same. We're something rather special, you and I. Even though you've somewhat altered my appearance, I am still your twin.
Only the mouth and the chin, and the hair, matted now with dried blood, would serve to identify Steve. The rest of the face is a horror of torn flesh and the white shards of shattered bone, out of which wreckage stares the one uninjured eye, boring with deadly intensity into the terrified face of the man who was once his image. I'll return shortly with Act 3. Frozen with fear and fascinated by that single hypnotizing eye, Simon is forced for what seems an eternity to focus on his twin's ruined face, the mocking smile and the white even teeth, a ghastly contrast which multiplies the horror of the broken skull above them. At last, with a supreme effort, he tears his eyes away to find himself staring at the reflection of his own countenance in the mirror above the desk.
No. Oh, God, no.
Don't cover your face, little brother. Leave me at least with a memory of how I once looked.
You're dead. Cremated. You can't be here.
As I said, not in the flesh, but we are hatched from the same egg, Simon. You can't get rid of me so easily. I shall always be with you, in spirit, shall we say?
No. No, leave me alone.
I will. When it serves me. Or you.
Steve, I didn't mean to.
Of course you did. I might possibly have done the same if our positions had been reversed.
What?
You have a lot to learn about me, little brother, which you would have in time. To avoid breaking open my desk, let me offer you the key.
Steve, I can't rummage through your things now.
The key? Take it. Why not? And since time is short before the dinner, I'll even help you understand a little better. Open the desk. Yeah, the left-hand pigeonholes are a false front. No, here, let me. There are all my secrets. Now, while you read them, I'll tell you about the most important items.
But why are you helping me?
Because I want you quite as thoroughly as I am. I'll make it brief, as you read. Now, Demetrios is in the drug business. For years, I have used Father's impeccably accredited import firm to cover for deliveries.
You in drugs?
You'll find the evidence in the papers you're leafing through. Wicked Simon, the black sheep. Stupid Simon, really. We were twins in more than the outward look, believe me. The difference was that you didn't have enough sense to bury your faults. I was smart enough to keep them covered up, but not smart enough to realize you had as little scruples as I had when it came to the point.
All right, so you lost. Why not let me have my innings now?
Why not? I'll even be of help. Until you have studied my signature enough to mask it, I'll even sign your papers for you. Don't worry. The hand that guides the pen may be of the spirit world, but the pen and ink are finite enough. Go on. Get ready for romance.
This letter that came from your Demetrios, shall I pay this?
Let me see. Oh, that double-dealing crook. Nah, don't pay him a cent. I've already made arrangements so that he will be paid in full. Yeah, forget it.
And you?
I will not be so easy to forget, dear twin brother. We are bound together by special hoops of steel. As long as I haunt this house, I shall be unavoidably hard to escape. Well, go on. It's time for you to be all that Becky expects of me.
Of you?
Aren't I what you hope to become?
It's really too hot for a fire, but I couldn't resist it.
I'd find it irresistibly romantic, even if I were bathed in sweat, which I'm not.
Can I make you another drink?
No, thank you. I want to enjoy this dinner and remember it.
There's champagne.
I'd be disappointed if there weren't.
I don't want ever to disappoint you, darling.
Oh, my darling Steve. Not you, ever.
I'll try to live up to your expectations. Do you love me?
I love you. I've always loved you. Now that I came so close to losing you, I love you even more. Oh, it's a terrible thing to say, I know, but thank God it was Simon instead of you.
Shh, darling, let's not spoil the evening. I've sent all the servants out, you know. We're all alone. You sure you don't want another drink?
No, but can I make a confession?
Of course.
I'm famished.
Mademoiselle est servie. May I escort you to your table?
Thank you, monsieur. Oh, Stephen, how pretty the table is, and my favorite roses. But why?
Why what, Becky?
Why is it set for three?
You don't mind my joining you, Simon, do you? Suitably dressed, white tie and tails, and the face mask I thought was a stroke of genius. It hides the damage so nicely.
Did you say something, Stephen?
That Joseph, he's in his dotage. I suppose he's so accustomed to setting for three that he just...
Don't blame the poor butler. I set the third place.
I won't have it. There's only...
Steve! Steve, what is it?
I'm sorry, Becky. I can't help it. It's all spoiled now. Let's get out of here and eat somewhere else. I've got to get away from this house.
Steve, you're not eating a thing.
I'm sorry, Becky. I know it must seem foolish to you, but that extra chair set for our dinner, it threw me.
Well, it was unfortunate, I know, when you wanted everything to be just right. But don't blame poor old Joseph too much. After all these years of setting the table for you and your father...
And Simon. That's what did it to me. See, I could see him sitting in that chair with his face... You didn't see him after the accident, thank God, but he...
Steve, it wasn't your fault. He was the one who grabbed the wheel and pulled you off the road into the tree, wasn't he?
Simon. Yes, Simon was the one, all right. That's true enough.
So you mustn't take the blame.
As long as I live in that house, he'll haunt it. The memory of him, the battered face.
Well, we'll solve all that. You won't live in the house. You'll move out to a hotel tonight, and after we're married on Saturday, when we come home from the honeymoon, we'll buy a new house.
Hey, wait. I have an even better idea. Maybe we'll never come back.
Never?
Maybe we'll settle in Rome or Paris or the Costa del Sol.
Or just travel. I've always wanted to see Mont Saint-Michel and the Tivoli and Taj Mahal.
That's my girl. That's what we'll do. Free souls with never a look behind. Becky, we've got it made, you and me, from here on in.
Off for the honeymoon,
Oh, God. You again.
Always, my dear twin. We're prisoners in the same jail.
What does that mean?
This house. Oh, I know you think you're escaping it for a while, but that's only temporary. Take it from me.
Becky and I are off for a honeymoon.
Of course. Not till Saturday, though. Does seem a little early to be packing.
Might as well start sometime.
And you seem to be planning to take quite a wardrobe.
Well, on a ship, there's plenty of room.
Plenty of distance between here and there.
What do you mean, there?
Oh, wherever. What were they, Rome? Paris? Mont Saint-Michel? The Taj Mahal? The very poetic one.
Do you know everything?
One of the few advantages of being a ghost.
And you can go everywhere?
No, there are limitations. No, I'm tied to this house.
And you're welcome to it.
Thank you, Simon. Or should I call you Stephen? Oh, it's so confusing since you switched identities. Which, by the by, reminds me, while you were dining and making all your escape plans, I signed all the papers old lawyer Holcomb left, so you are free to go.
I suppose I should say thank you.
Call it my wedding gift.
What about the check for that Demetrius or whatever his name was?
Oh, forget about that. That was a private deal. He doesn't need your check. Other arrangements have been made to satisfy that debt, believe me. So, this, as the word goes, is goodbye.
Yes.
I'm sorry I won't be able to attend the wedding and give the bride away.
I never intend to come near this house again.
Pity. I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed.
You like the cabin all right, Becky?
Oh, it couldn't be more perfect.
How about your new husband?
Ditto.
Well, just keep feeling that way. Darling, you'll have to excuse me for a minute.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. The assistant purser just told me someone from the office needs an okay or something before we sail. He doesn't have a pass, so they wouldn't let him aboard. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
What, don't miss getting back on the boat.
Don't you worry. It took me long enough to catch it. Mr. Hood?
Yeah?
You from Fairley Company and Sons?
Yeah, right. You Stephen Fairley?
Yes.
Good. I got a message from you from my boss. Can we step over here to my car?
Well, the boat's too near sailing. You just tell me here.
At the car. Now just play it real cool, Mr. Fairley, and don't make any sudden moves. That jab you feel is the muzzle of a short-barreled .38. Okay. Shall we step over to the car?
Where are you taking me?
Little spot on the Jersey Flats. Ain't exactly quicksand, but you'd be surprised how fast that slime sucks up a body that ain't moving.
You're not going to kill me.
You know, dope is a funny game. Using your business as a front was a great way for us to get the stuff in. But when you try the old double O, Mr. P, that was crazy, Stephen.
No, look, you don't understand. I'm not Stephen.
What?
Stephen is dead. I'm Simon. I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah, sure.
See, no, look, when we had the automobile accident, all I did was change places.
Sure.
I mean, Stephen was driving and I was... Oh, for God's sake, look, I just got married. My wife is... Please, you've got to listen!
Okay. Dump him in the swamp and let's get out of here, Giorgio.
Well, here we are, Simon. Back home again. Table set for two this time. That's all there is. The rest are gone. Just you and me. Oh, I know how it feels. But you might as well face it. Eternity is such a long time. And since we were twins, it seemed a shame Simon was alive and Stephen this way. I'm still, but even Stephen.
A footnote to the tale you just heard. Mr. Hood's quagmire proved less effective than its reputation, and Simon's body was recovered. Since he had served in the Army, an examination of his fingerprints established the deception about the death of the twins. The tangled result of the estate is unimportant, since there was no heir. But at least Becky gained a measure of peace in finding out that she had not tied her life to a man who would have ruined it. I'll be back shortly. Whenever they try to control the living, the seeds of disaster are sown. At the beginning of our tale, Justine Fairley lay in his bed, whitened with the wax of death, his stubborn mind at peace with the thought that he had settled the future of his twin sons. Sic transit gloria mundi, so passed the triumphs of this world. He could no more control the accident of their birth than he could their deaths. Our cast included Michael Tolan, Paul Hecht, Joan Lovejoy, and Ian Martin. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
And now, Mystery Theater, brought to you in part by True Value Hardware, your store of first choice.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the world of primeval dread, to the fear you can hear. Do things have souls? Do natural forces embody malicious spirits? That was the primitive belief of mankind, stifled, they say, by the rise of civilization. But is it dead? Or does there move within us still the distorted shadow of some long-forgotten lore, dark images we dare not face? Jeff Moore never found the answer, but the question shattered his life.
You devil, Chindi. I defy you. You called me and I'm here, Chindi. I'm here. I defy you. No. No.
Jeff, don't wake up.
What?
It's a dream. You're having a nightmare.
Oh, Katie, that terrible dream again.
Just a storm.
The horse again. The horse galloping toward me. The rider wrapped in a long black shroud. When he turned his face to me, it was a mass of melting flesh. It was the face of the man we buried out there in the sand. Katie.
Our mystery drama, The Devil God, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Mary Jane Higby and stars Ruby Dee and Mandel Kramer. The main character of our drama tonight will never appear. I think you will feel his presence, however, as thousands have felt it through the long centuries that brought us out of the prehistoric cave to the place where we now stand. As Jeff and Katie Moore, a young couple from New England, felt it among the stark cliffs of the Southwest. But let Katie tell you about it.
That storm last night shook this old house like a terrier shaking a rat. I lay trembling in my bed while it crashed its way toward us and burst in a roar overhead. Jeff started screaming in his sleep, the way he does nowadays.
Help me.
And I ran in to comfort
Help
him.
me. Please help me.
Jeff, darling, wake up. This is the storm.
It's the horse again. The horse galloping toward me, the rider wrapped in a long black shroud. Suddenly he turned his face to me, and it was a mass of melting flesh, the face of the man we buried out there in the sand. Oh, Katie.
All right, baby. All right.
Katie, am I ever going to get over this?
Something about a vicious storm. How innocent and clean the world looks afterward. In the morning, the air was so shimmering clear that for a moment I thought I was back in Antelope Valley, that day I first saw it nestling in the desert mountains. I didn't know then the terror hidden in those hills. I wish I had known. Dear God, how I wish I had known.
Sorry about the shape this road's in, folks.
This is a road?
Are we on our own property yet, Mr. Purdy?
It will be soon as we cross the little Yaqui River. It's only 20 miles or so to the house from there. Mm-hmm. Your uncle left you a fine ranch. You're going to be mighty happy when you see what you've got.
I'll be mighty happy if I still got my teeth.
It's awfully nice of you to bring us all the way out here.
Well, I couldn't let you come out alone the first time. You being strangers to this part of the country and all. Now, when we get to the top of this rise, you're going to see a grade A job of government bungling. A few months ago, they sent out some fancy Eastern engineers. First thing they did was pull out the bridge that was here and move it 10 miles downriver. Never stopped to find out there was a house 20 miles back, and this bridge was the only access.
Oh, dear. Well, what do we do?
The Jeep won't make it through the gully. I think it will. I better walk down first, though, to make sure.
Shall I come with you?
No use both of us getting our feet wet.
Well, I can see why he said we'd never make it in our own car. Honey, when I think of your uncle sinking all of his money in this God-forsaken country...
God-forsaken? Why, it's beautiful.
Come on, darling, you've seen too many John Wayne movies.
It's valuable land.
I know. And I'm lucky. I married a beautiful woman who turned out to be an heiress.
I'm glad we didn't know my Uncle Bush was making me his heir. I'd have thought you were marrying me for my vast holdings.
And I just hope that among the vast holdings, he left a bottle of scotch. Because I'm going to need it if Joe Purdy manages to get us across these craters of the moon.
Well, I just wanted to be sure that there was no quicksand.
We're really going down into that ravine.
Yep. Here we go.
Oh, it's awfully steep, isn't it?
Oh, boy. Well, made it. Shook up. Sorry, folks. Well, that's the little Yaqui River.
The river? There wasn't a quart of water in it.
No, not now. But don't you ever try what I just did. Come a flash flood, and it'll be a wall of water rushing down. You know, I've seen little jackrabbits caught in it, even rattlesnakes. That's why your uncle was so mad about that bridge. You can't get to your land from the new one without scaling the cliff.
What? Mr. Purdy, wait a minute now. Are you saying that once you leave us, we're completely cut off, trapped?
Oh, no. The ranch hands can always get you out. Kenneth, he's your foreman. He talks English real good.
Well, what do the others talk?
Their own language. They're Indians.
Indians? Why didn't anybody tell us all this?
Well, now, I wouldn't worry.
Well,
your uncle had the best ranch hands in the state. That's why Antelope Valley's such a fine money-making outfit.
Well, now, just don't borrow trouble. Wait till we get there. See what it's like.
I know what it's like. Flash floods, quicksand, rattlesnakes, and 6 feet of snow. Katie, we're moving into a trap.
But just misgivings faded when Antelope Valley lay spread before us. The long white L-shaped house, half hidden in cottonwood trees and bordered by bright flowers. And winding in the distance, the gully that marked the upper course of the little Yaqui. Some Indians were standing around the corral. I waved, but they only stared back.
And here we are, folks.
Well, after what we've been through, this is kind of like Shangri-La, isn't it?
We'll just get the luggage out. Oh, there's your foreman. Hi, Ken.
Hi, Joe.
Mr. and Mrs. Moore, Kenneth Yazzie.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Kenneth.
Yes.
I'll help with your bags.
Well, thank you.
And if you'll excuse me, I'll get back to work. We're just finishing up. All right if I show you around later?
Oh, yes.
Freezer's well stocked, isn't it, Ken?
Sure is.
couple of sides of beef, and a lot of game. Now, don't you carry anything, Mrs. Moore. Just get the door for us, please. I've had the house open and airing for you all day.
What a nice room.
What a great fire.
And look at this. You wouldn't expect a picture window in a ranch house, now would you?
Oh, your uncle built himself a real modern...
Oh, look, up on the hill. What a beauty.
Oh, you mean the horse. Hey, that's a Palomino, isn't it?
What?
Isn't that a Palomino out there?
Oh, it's gone.
I think you must be mistaken. I think you saw a deer.
No, it was a horse,
Oh,
all
with a
right.
wonderful golden mane. I'm going to get some sugar and see if I can't...
No.
What?
Leave it alone.
Why, Ken?
That horse is no good, Joe.
What do you mean?
There's a bad feeling about that horse, Mrs. Moore. Leave her alone. She doesn't belong here.
Whose horse is it?
Bad feeling. Don't go near her. Let her go.
But doesn't she belong to us? Doesn't she?
Believe me, Mrs. Moore. You staying overnight, Joe?
No. Have to get back to the office. The title company won't run itself, you know.
Well, you'll stay and have a drink with us, won't you?
The boys want to talk to you, Joe.
Yeah, sure. I'll go out to the corral and say hello and, yes, Mr. Moore, I reckon I better have one for that road. We'll be right back.
Well, what do you suppose that was all about?
The horse, you mean?
That Indian looked so funny.
I thought he looked frightened.
A valuable animal like that shouldn't be running around loose.
Oh, come on, darling. I want to see the rest of the house. This... Oh, look at this kitchen. It's huge.
Hey, you can walk right inside the closets. Boy. Hey, your Uncle Bush Hyatt was no teetotaler. I'll say that for him. Get the ice, honey, and I'll see if I can find some glasses. There's enough liquor here to last the whole winter. What are you staring at?
That horse again. Look through this window. It's heavenly. Oh, Jeff.
Boy, Joe Purdy's sure deep in conversation with those Indians. They're kind of a sullen-looking lot, aren't they? No, I don't think I would exactly call this place heavenly, honey. Hostile seems a better word.
You don't like it. Oh, Jeff, give it a few weeks' trial.
Look, it's beautiful, Kate, but... Oh, I guess I'm just tired.
Hello?
Hey, we're in the kitchen here, getting it all together. What do you have, bourbon or scotch?
Oh, bourbon. Bourbon's fine.
I haven't found the soda yet. Will tap water be all right?
Never mind the water. I'm going to ask you folks to put me up for the night.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, sure.
Wonderful.
Well, here's to a happy life in Antelope Valley.
Cheers, Joe.
Cheers.
You don't mind if I call you that, do you?
Of course not. Everybody does. Well, I have to ride out behind the hills tomorrow.
Oh, why?
There's a job to do back there. Nasty job, too. The ranch hands asked me if I'd do it.
Why'd they do it themselves?
No, they can't. There's something to do with their religion. Oh, and by the way, I want to talk to you about that. You got the best cowhands in the state. Now, you'll get along just fine if you respect their ways, their religion.
What is their religion?
Well, as near as I can figure, the Indian lives in a different world from us. He lives in the world of spirits. Where we see a cloud, he sees a spirit. Where we hear the wind...
Well, that's animatism.
Well, I wouldn't know about that. But the important thing is not to rile those spirits.
Okay, I'll drink to that.
No, I'm serious. I'd advise you to be. Because, well, I've seen some mighty strange things in my time. And now about that horse, Palomino.
Now, how about that? Now, is it ours or isn't it?
Well, I figure it isn't. You see, anything the lightning god has touched belongs to him.
You mean the horse was struck by lightning?
It didn't hurt her. One of those freak accidents. But now she belongs to the lightning god. He'll strike down anybody who tries to take what is his. So, leave her alone, okay?
Oh, come on. That's nonsense. Plain superstition.
It's what they believe.
Well, Kenneth doesn't go for this rubbish, does he? He seems like an educated man.
He was a track star at UCLA. Almost made the Olympics. But Ken is an Indian.
I see. All right, look, let's get this straight. The horse belongs to this ranch, right? And it's a valuable animal, isn't it?
I reckon so.
Now, you're saying that I can't keep her, can't even sell her because of some whammy that somebody's put on her?
I'm saying you won't go near that horse if you know what's good for you.
But that's crazy.
Now, don't be so sure.
Well, you don't believe this drivel, do you?
I don't believe it, and I don't not believe it.
Well, that horse is going back into the barn. It's ours, and I'm keeping it.
You take that attitude, and you'll be in trouble. Bad trouble.
That is superstition right out of the Dark Ages.
Older than that, I reckon. But it's their belief. And this would be one hell of a time to try to talk them out of it. They've got a man lying back in the hills to prove it.
A man?
If you're so cocksure about these things, ride out with me tomorrow when I go bury him.
Katie leaves the two men, still stubbornly arguing the pros and cons of superstition, to stand at her bedroom window, watching the motionless stars. As one springs to sudden life and goes skimming across the sky, she makes a wish, then smiles at herself. A meteor, nothing more. What power has it to grant good fortune? Troubled, she turns to her bed and her first night's sleep in the eerie stillness of Antelope Valley. I'll be back shortly with Act 2 of The Devil God. A profound stillness has settled over the remote ranch, broken only by the occasional howl of a coyote. In spite of her uneasiness about the gruesome task her city-bred husband has agreed to undertake with Joe Purdy, Katie Moore has fallen into a deep sleep. She awakes with a start. Someone is moving about the room.
Jeff?
Oh, I didn't mean to wake you, honey. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's still dark.
It sure is, and Joe Purdy says early. He means it.
I'll get you breakfast.
No, we've had breakfast. Don't get up. Katie, you know where that blue cotton shirt of mine is?
I think I put it... Oh, yes. Second drawer down.
Okay, now. So how's the girl of the Golden West?
Did you hear anything?
No. Like what?
I thought I heard hoofbeats. Toss me my dressing gown, will you? Ooh, it's chilly, isn't it? Yes, there she is again. The Palomino. Oh, poor thing. Probably hungry.
You know, Katie, this whole setup seems fishy.
You mean about the horse?
The whole situation on this ranch. After you went to bed last night, I found out the name of this guy that we're going to bury. Little Gambler. And whose father do you think he is?
Kenneth Yazzi's father?
That's right, our college graduates. Now, superstition or no superstition, you don't leave your father lying out where the buzzards and coyotes can get at him.
Ooh, Jeff, don't.
I'm sorry, honey, but I won't be surprised if we find him shot through the head or stabbed in the back. If we can tell from what's left of him. There's something phony going on. I'm not sure Joe isn't part of it.
Oh, no, Jeff.
Well, you take this guy's name, Little Gambler. Now, honey, you know that horse is worth a lot of money.
You think there was a fight over the horse?
I don't know. And I sure don't go for all this mumbo-jumbo about lightning gods and rainbow gods and spirits of death. It's too easy an out. Can you see, is that horse still there?
Uh-huh. Poor thing, it needs a good currying.
As soon as I'm dressed and going out, I'm putting it into the barn. And, Katie, you see that it stays there.
The sun was beginning to rise as I watched wily Joe Purdy and my cheerful blonde husband ride out of sight. I turned to unpacking and settling into my new home. Just after midday, a sudden commotion drew me out into the yard. The barn door was open, and in the dark interior, a golden mane flashed through the air as the Palomino reared suddenly. I could make out two shadowy figures behind us. No, stop! Stop! No, don't drive her out! Stop that! My husband put the horse in the barn. She should stay there. Now, don't let her out!
Something wrong, Mrs. Moore?
Yes. My husband put the Palomino in the barn this morning, and I caught these men trying to drive her out.
I don't think so, Mrs. Moore.
Oh, yes, I saw them.
The horse is no good.
You mean she's vicious? That's absurd. She's as gentle as a lamb.
No good for the ranch.
She was my uncle's horse, wasn't she? Kenneth, I'm serious about this. We're keeping her. And from now on, I want the boys to take good care of her.
They have other work to do.
Oh, come on. All this fuss is because she was struck by lightning, isn't it? Let's settle this once and for all. This was my uncle's ranch. Now my husband and I occupy the place that he did.
Your uncle understood Indian ways.
I understand, too. I know how the ranch hands feel about the lightning god, and I sympathize. But I don't for 1 minute believe in it, and I don't think you do.
Mrs. Moore, let the horse go. Otherwise, I cannot be responsible.
You don't have to be. Just do as I say. He turned on his heel and left me standing there in the blazing heat. Tears of fury stung my eyes. I watched a buzzard circling in the clear sky. Then the thought of Jeff and the grisly job he had set out to do sent a shiver through me, and I ran back into the cool ranch house. I prowled restlessly from room to room until in my uncle's office I came across a photograph album. A pictorial record of his days as a trader on the Indian reservation. A recent snapshot, not yet pasted in the book, fell out in my lap. On it, my uncle had written, Scheherazade, first prize, Santa Fe, 1972. It was the Palomino. I was so engrossed in the album that I didn't notice the change in the weather. A wind had come up and a door started banging. And I ran to fasten it, and I could see the cottonwoods outside writhing in the wind. A few Indians had gathered near the corral. One of them, taller than the rest, wore a big black hat. He was pointing to the east, where a dark, menacing cloud hung over the hills. I felt stifled. I sat down, gasping for breath, and watched while the ugly thing spread like some monstrous growth across the sky. Shortly after sunset, Jeff and Joe Purdy returned.
Honey?
Oh, Jeff. Jeff, I'm so glad you're back.
Not as glad as I am. What a day.
Nasty chore. I reckon it gave your husband a bad turn.
You better believe it.
You look exhausted, darling. Aren't you coming in, Joe?
No, I'll just return our ponies to the corral, and then I got to get on my way. I want to keep ahead of that storm, at least till I cross the little Yaqui. You'll excuse me, Mrs. Moore?
Oh, of course. Goodbye. Thanks, Joe, for everything.
So long, Joe. I'll see you soon.
Sure. I'll keep in touch. Oh, Ken, take these ponies. I've got to get going.
Okay. You'll make it if you hurry, Joe. So long.
Come on in, darling.
Yeah. Those cow ponies are tough little animals. I don't think anything else could have made this trek.
It was rugged, huh?
You'd never believe it, honey. I'll say this for the lightning god when he sets out to do a job. That bolt must have hit the Indian in the head and spun him right around. His face was like melted. Oh, even his moccasins were split. And the funny thing, his blouse was untouched, but the sleeves were gone. Apparently went up in smoke. And the flesh on his arms was peeled to the wrist.
Do you think it really was lightning?
Oh, no question about it. Freak accident. Strange how often people use that word about lightning.
Freak.
Yeah. You have to see it to know why. I mean, it looks deliberate. You know, like two guys are in a boat and one is struck by lightning and killed and the other one isn't touched. You know what I mean? The Indians think it's malicious spirits. Chindi, they call it. Well, it's nonsense, of course, but I tell you, standing alone with Joe out there in the desert, well, it was funny, but it was like I could feel a presence. I kept looking over my shoulder. I told Joe, and he said, "Yep, Chindi. That's the death devil, Chindi."
Jeff.
All right, look, honey, I was darn glad to get away from there.
It's getting dark.
That evil presence was...
I better put on some more lights. Where's the light switch?
By the front door.
Oh, yes. Come on in the kitchen, dear. I've got a good, rich beef stew on the stove, and you'll feel better when you've eaten. What was scenery like back there?
Sky, sand, and sagebrush. The handiwork of Chindi. Storm.
My goodness, it's black outside.
I tell you, I wouldn't want to be Joe Purdy driving back to town now.
Lightning, look. Sheet lightning, isn't it? Scary, but beautiful. Lit up the whole hill.
The Indians say it was Little Gambler's fault.
His fault that lightning struck him?
Mm-hmm. They say he rode a horse that fire from the sky hit last year.
The Palomino?
That's right. And he knew the lightning god gets mad if anybody takes what's his. You know, Kitty, I'm afraid we're going to have to give her up.
Oh, no. She's a jewel, a prize winner, you know. And she's been so neglected. It's awful. Uncle Bush was very proud of her.
You know?
So I found a picture of him standing beside her the day she took first at some horse show.
Well, we can't keep her.
Jeff, you're not going to let them drive her away.
Honey, there are forces around us that we don't dare contend with.
Jeff, what are you talking about? You know it's superstition.
It's easy to say that here in this cozy house. But out there, in those bleak burning dunes, I tell you, Katie, there was something. I could feel it. I feel it now.
That was a close one, wasn't it?
Yes. Sheet lightning and sport lightning. I'm going out and open the barn door.
Jeff, you're not in this weather. I won't let you drive her out into this weather. What's the matter with you? You said yourself this is nonsense.
It's bringing us trouble. Bad trouble. I can feel it coming like a hot wind.
You've been out in the hot sun all day, and Joe Purdy has hypnotized you with this rubbish.
Joe says the ranch hands will all leave if we try to keep her.
Let them. We'll get others. They have good jobs here, and good jobs aren't so easy to get these days.
But, honey, this morning I felt the way you do. But admit all, you haven't seen what I've seen. That Indian looked like he'd been scalped. I know, I saw it. I'm not just talking. Now, we've got to get rid of the horse.
Jeff, listen to me, dear. If we give in now, we'll lose all authority. You know, I had an unpleasant scene with Kenneth earlier. He was very rude. We can't start out that way. This taboo, or whatever it is stupid and barbaric, and we're not going to yield to it. Now, I'm going to make some coffee.
Stay away from the sink. That's not superstition. The pipes form a perfect ground for the lightning.
You mean I can't even run water for coffee?
Not until the worst of the storm is over. It's heading for us right now. Joe was telling me that before lightning strikes, you can sometimes feel an electric charge run through your body. You feel your hairs rise. It's the hand of Chindi. Then you're probably going to be hit, and the only thing to do is drop flat on the ground and pray.
Oh, flat. The light.
Oh, hit a power line, I guess.
Well, what do we do?
Now, just keep calm. Lights will probably go on again.
It's awfully dark. Have we got a flashlight?
Yeah, but it's in the car back in town.
Matches?
Not since I quit smoking. Got to be some candles around here.
I saw some this morning. I remember now. I was putting things in the kitchen closet. I know where they are. There must be matches there, too. I'll get some. Let's see now. It's over here past the sink. Yes. Mm-hmm. They're in the back on the third...
Katie! Oh. What happened?
Oh.
Katie, are you all right?
Oh.
Katie, where are you?
Groping his way through the darkness, Jeff struggles against the sudden rush of his own superstitious fear. But one man's superstition is another man's firmly held faith. And perhaps the only safe conduct through the uncertainties of this valley of shadows is a healthy respect for the beliefs of others. Common courtesy or common sense should teach us that. If not, the powers that be may find harsher ways to bring the lesson home. I'll return shortly with Act 3. An unfamiliar house, a wrong step, and a headlong plunge into black emptiness. Katie Moore lies dazed and frightened on a rough cement floor.
Katie? Katie, where are you? Are you all right?
I think so. Don't try to get to me, Jeff. Wait. I'll see if I can get up. Oh.
Are you hurt?
I don't know. Yes, I think I fell down. Oh, my shoulder.
Don't move. Damn it, if I only had a match. Yes, there are steps here.
Be careful.
All right. Now, where are you, darling?
Here.
Oh, okay. All right, listen. Do you think you can put your arm around my neck?
I'll try.
Easy now. I better not try to move you until we get some light. I gotta find those candles. I'll be right back, darling.
Watch yourself.
All right.
Watch yourself.
Oh, Ken, thank God you brought a light.
I could see from the bunkhouse that the place was still dark. I figured you didn't have a flashlight, so I brought a couple of kerosene lamps.
But my wife fell down the cellar steps, and I'm afraid she's badly hurt. I didn't dare try to move her. Ken brought her some lamps there. It just happened a minute ago. She fell down these steps. She was looking for candles. She thought she was going into the kitchen closet, and she opened the wrong door.
I can't move. I can't turn over.
Let's see this. Looks like it's a shoulder, collarbone.
My legs feel all right. I can move them.
Try slipping your arm around her waist. I think I can hold her so it won't be too bad. But it's
easy.
Going to hurt some, Mrs. Moore. Ready?
Yes.
Do you think we dare lift her?
Yes. I've got her. Tell me when you're ready.
All right now. There. Easy, darling. Does it hurt?
A little. I think I can walk up.
Okay. Nice and still got you.
Careful.
Now, one step at a time. Then bring the lamps.
Yeah, I am. Take it easy, darling. Easy now. Just a few more steps.
Just get me to the sofa.
Okay. Can we get the lights on again, Kenneth?
Not a chance. Till the worst of this is over. I have a hunch it hit the generator. I'm going to have to get back to the bunkhouse.
All right, here we are now.
Easy now, Mrs. Moore.
Careful now. Easy.
I don't want to leave the ranch crew alone too long. They're restless.
Yes, I understand. All right, go ahead. And Ken?
Yes?
Go to the barn and get rid of her.
My horse? No.
Katie,
oh, no.
Don't make waves. Not now.
You're right. Do what you think's best.
Thanks. It'll make things a whole lot easier for me.
That was a bright flash. That's the whole room.
Oh, my God.
Well, what is it?
You see that?
Yes, I saw.
They can't do this. I'll stop them.
I'll try.
Well, what's the matter? What happened?
The ranch hands, honey, they're leaving. In that last flash, I could see a long line of ponies. They're all just quietly riding away.
Oh, Jeff, I'm frightened.
All right, now we have to keep our heads here.
We can leave, too.
I don't know if people have been in worse spots than this. Now, look, we have plenty of provisions. It can't rain forever.
I never saw such a downpour.
Ken? Did they take all the ponies?
No. There's one left, but it was badly hurt a few days ago.
Kenneth, why did they all leave us?
There's bad feeling here.
You mean they're frightened? I'm damned if I understand it.
They're not afraid of dying. It is the spirit of death they respect. It is Chindi. Indians are proud before men. They're not proud before their gods. Black Hat is a medicine man. He says Chindi is very angry now. He says tonight Chindi will take all Antelope Valley for his own.
By morning, I was running a fever. It rained for 4 days without let up. But part of the time I was delirious, so my memories are confused.
Try to drink this, dear.
I want some orchids. Orchids, please.
Honey, it's chicken broth. Try to take a little, huh?
Mr. Moore, I I'm afraid it's going to flood.
A little yucky?
There are sandbags in the barn. We've got to make a dike to protect the house.
The river doesn't look that high.
Remember, there's no vegetation in these hills to hold the water. A sudden downpour runs right off. Flash flood. Come on.
Well, that ought to hold for a while.
Not enough. It's all we have.
Oh, I'm so tired I'm going to drop.
We've done all we can do. Mr. Moore, we'll have to move to higher ground. When that water hits, the house may go.
We can't, man. We can't move Kitty outdoors in her condition.
We'll set a tarpaulin tent on the hill. Take blankets. Hurry. It'll come any time now. Out.
Look, great Scott, it's a wall of water. Will the house go?
I don't know.
I've never seen anything like that. It's like a dam had burst. Thank God you got us out of there.
Dad.
Yes, Kate?
Dad, where are we?
We're in a tent, honey, on the hill back of the house. Stay right here until the worst of the storm is past. Are you warm enough, darling?
What?
Here's the canteen.
Let me lift you up there.
I'm so weak.
Careful, honey. There you are. Try to be quiet, darling. Ken, I've got to get a doctor. Now, if a man hit a horse, could he make it out of here now?
He might. He knew his way.
The barn is still standing.
Yes.
I'm going to see if that Palomino is there.
You could never find the pass. Even in good weather, somebody would have to show you the first time. In a storm like this.
Look, I've got to do something. I can't stand by and let my wife die.
I'll go out to the barn.
No. I don't expect you to touch the horse, Ken. I understand these things better now. And you can see that I must go.
First, let's see if the horse is still there.
Dad.
Yes, dear.
I'm cold.
Yeah, the blanket is tucked off. Let me wrap it around you.
Where's Ken?
He went out to the barn a little while ago.
I can dream. A man was riding by. And suddenly a horse burst into flames.
Quiet, dear. Quiet, darling.
That sounds like who?
It must be Ken. He's taken the Palomino. Ken, no! Ken, I'll go! Ken, come back!
Has he deserted us too?
No, he's going for help. Oh, the poor guy. He must be frightened to death on that Palomino.
Mr. Moore.
Ken, couldn't you get through?
There's a truck coming. I met them a quarter of a mile down. Joe is with them. It's search and rescue from town.
Search and rescue?
That's a local organization. They have special equipment. Mostly they go after hunters who get lost in the San Francisco peaks.
Well, how did they know about us?
The ranch hand sold them. Managed to throw a makeshift bridge across the Yaqui down below. The road is mostly washed out, but they can make it slowly.
Thank God. Ken.
Yeah?
Ken, I want to thank you for what you did. I know what it meant.
It's all right.
Look, we were wrong, Ken. We behaved badly. But when you've lived all your life a certain way and believed certain things, it's just hard to... Well, anyway, everything will be okay now.
I hope you're right.
Uh-oh. Better get back under the tarpaulin. The rain's starting again.
Kindy circled around. It's coming from the other side now.
Oh, nonsense, man. We'll soon be out of here.
The men from search and rescue were carrying me on a stretcher when it happened. Jeff was beside me. Ken was about 10 feet ahead. Suddenly I felt it. A tingling sensation through my body. The small hairs on my forearms seemed to rise. I knew that Ken felt it too. He turned and looked up at the sky, his eyes staring wildly. There was a blinding flash. Then Ken was lying on the ground.
Ken! Oh, my God.
Kenneth!
Don't try to get up, Katie. Joe. Joe, is he...
Yeah. He's dead.
It's my fault. We goaded him into riding that horse. I wouldn't let her go. I killed him. I killed him. I'll never forgive myself. I'm a murderer.
Now, Miss Moore, it's not your fault. We don't control these things. They're accidents.
You said Chindi would kill anyone who touched his property. You said it. You know you did. It is my fault. It is. I killed him. I killed him.
Please, dear.
I killed him. He saved our lives.
Katie,
and
now stop
I
it.
killed him.
Stop it. You have got to get this straight now. It was an accident. Do you hear me? An accident.
I killed him. I'll never forgive myself. It was not an accident. You all know what it was. Why don't you say it? It was Chindi. Oh, God, forgive me. I killed the man.
She was to blame all her life. She's hysterical.
Chindi.
Katie, listen to me. There is no Chindi. What happened was an accident. You got to hold on to that fact.
There's the horse. Get rid of her. Drive her away.
Take Mrs. Moore to the truck, boys. We'll have to come back for Kenneth later.
No. I won't go unless you bring Kenneth too. You're not going to leave him here alone.
Katie, watch me. I'm going to ride that Palomino. Chindi! I'm taking your horse, Chindi. I defy you. If you're there, show us your power now. I defy you. There is no Chindi.
Miss Moore, you there?
Oh, just Mr. Murchison. Oh, come on in. Oh, your hands are full. Just a second. I'll get the screen open.
My wife sent this over to you.
How nice.
Well, she remembered you always did like it.
Banana bread.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you back with us in Connecticut. We thought we'd lost you to the west.
Oh, it's good to be back. Did you see Jeff? He's working over at the edge of the wood. There's a tree, he says, has to come down. It looks sturdy enough to me.
But if he's talking about the oak near the clump of white birch, it ain't as solid as it looks. Are you planning to stay now for good?
Oh, yes. We sold everything we owned out west. It was beautiful.
Mary and I drove out there once. It was all too big for me, all too much.
Connecticut is more cozy.
Yeah. Well, I'll be getting along. I want to see Jeff. There's something I should tell him about that tree.
Tell Mrs. Murchison I'll be over to see her as soon as I get settled.
Well, if we can help, just let us know.
What was that?
Oh, sounds like he felled the tree.
He wasn't going to chop it down. Jeff!
You all right, Jeff?
Jeff! Mr. Murchison, look.
Now go back. Call the police. Tell them to send an ambulance. We can't move that tree, just the two of us. Now, quick, girl, quick. Then get the Hester boys. They're working on the fence. I'm coming, son. Oh, help. Mr. Murchison, help me. Lou Hester will be here in a minute. We'll try to move the tree off you. I don't know what happened. I just tapped it. I was coming to tell you, Jeff. It's rotten all the way through. You see, that tree was struck years ago by lightning.
Jeff Moore is in a wheelchair now. Nobody knows just why. The doctors say he suffered no permanent injury when that tree fell. But sometimes late at night, when she hears the wind rising, the rain beginning to fall, Katie's thoughts go back to Antelope Valley and Kenneth Yazzie and the Palomino. And she wonders. I'll be back shortly. Lightning strikes, invoking a tribal taboo. Result, 2 dead men and a house plunged into darkness. 2 months and 3,000 miles later, a 3rd man is struck down. Coincidence, of course. But what is coincidence? A word. A word we use to explain what we cannot explain. Our cast included Ruby Dee, Mandel Kramer, Leon Janney, and Guy Sorrell. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to a world we all inhabit too little. The world of imagination. Our own. Yours and mine. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be a ghost? Well, one of this earth's greatest writers did, Oscar Wilde. And having let his imagination play with the idea, he set down his findings in a ghost story that ranks with the world's finest. The classic tale of the Canterville Ghost. And if by chance you should think that a ghost's life is all wine and roses, why then listen to what went on one night at Canterville Castle.
Blood! I must have blood. And when I say blood, I do not mean a drop or two. I mean gallons. Or am I not called Gibeon, the bloodsucker of Bexley Moor? Blood! Oh, give me blood!
Blood, my foot. What you need is some oil for those rusty chains.
Our mystery drama, The Canterville Ghost, was especially adapted from the Oscar Wilde classic for the Mystery Theater by George Lothar and stars Arnold Moss. Our story takes place in Canterville Castle, ancestral home of the de Canterville family since the 15th century. You immediately assume, I have no doubt, that the castle is in England. Well, it isn't. It was, but it isn't anymore. For you see, that well-known multimillionaire Hiram Otis had it dismantled, stone by stone, transported to the United States, and re-erected, stone by stone, on his own estate in the Midwest. So it is that one fine afternoon, we find him, Hiram, and his wife Martha, and his lovely daughter Virginia, and Geoffrey de Canterville, her fiancé, in the newly restored library of the newly erected castle of the Cantervilles.
Well, Mr. Otis, I hope you're satisfied with the job I've done. Canterville Castle re-erected, lock, stock, and barrel, even to the ancestral gardens which surround it.
Well, the castle's okay, but I don't know about the gardens. The guy I hired to be the general manager when we opened the place as a tourist resort says the pool ought to be where you put the pine woods.
But, Daddy, that's the exact area where the pine woods were. In England.
Oh, well, Ginny, dear, tourists won't know that.
But that was part of the deal when Daddy bought the castle from Jeff and hired him to re-erect it here, that nothing would be changed.
Well, business is business. If it'll be more convenient for tourists to have the pool where the pine woods are. Yeah. Now, what's this?
Well, you know what that is, Mr. Otis. It's the blood stain. That's the spot in front of the fireplace where Sir Simon de Canterville stabbed his wife to death way back in 1601.
I told you I wanted it removed.
And I told you it can't be removed.
You got any Otis bathroom cleanser around, Jeff?
Yes, of course, in the cleaning closets. You told me to stock it.
Get a can of it.
But, Mr. Otis, really...
Otis bathroom cleanser is guaranteed to get rid of any stain, and it'll get rid of this one. Go on, give me a can of it.
Good heavens, that vase. Oh, dear, it fell off the mantelpiece.
No, it didn't fall off, Mrs. Otis. It was knocked off, I'd say, by Sir Simon de Canterville.
The ghost?
Yes, I'm afraid he doesn't like the idea of removing that bloodstain. However, I'll get the cleanser.
Him and his ghost. What, do you think I was born yesterday?
Jeff wouldn't lie to you, Daddy? and if he says the castle's haunted, then...
Now, look, Ginny. Just because this fortune hunter fiancé of yours, Lord Geoffrey Canterville, believes in ghosts, doesn't mean I have to.
Daddy, if you call Jeff a fortune hunter once more, just once more...
Okay, honey. I'm sorry. All I want is your happiness, sweetie. And if he'll make you happy, fine. fine.
Here we are, Mr. Otis. A fresh can of Otis bathroom cleanser.
All right, let me have it. Now watch. I spray it on the bloodstain. You bring a cloth to wipe it off with?
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind. Use my handkerchief. Now, one wipe, so. Where's your bloodstain now?
Oh, Hiram, it's gone.
What else? An Otis guarantee is an Otis guarantee.
It will come back.
Not after an Otis cleanser treatment, it won't.
Oh, what was that? Oh, what is it?
It's the ghost again, Mrs. Otis.
No, it was the wind, something.
But there isn't any wind.
No, it was something else, but not a ghost. I just plain don't believe in ghosts, and that's the end of that.
Well, if you ask me, Mr. Otis, it's only the beginning.
Eleanor! Oh, blast the woman, where is she?
Here, Simon, dear. Here I am.
Get the paint bucket. We have to repaint the stain.
Again?
I promise you, however often Mr. Hiram Otis erases my bloodstain.
My bloodstain, dear.
Oh, all right, yours. But you wouldn't have had it if it hadn't been for me. You do forgive me.
Oh, my dear, I have forgiven you at least once every 100 years since it happened. I should not be here otherwise.
And the least I can do is to see that your stay here remains peaceful by giving that barbarous American his comeuppance. Fear not, my dearest love. It is Sir Simon de Canterville, me, against Mr. Hiram Otis, him. But I truly believe there's little doubt as to the outcome of the battle.
A blue bloodstain? What do you mean a blue bloodstain?
Just what I say, Mr. Otis.
The stain's reappeared, and this time it's blue, Daddy.
Now, look, I don't know what you two are up to.
Up to?
For your information, the boss painter who's redecorating the upstairs bedrooms complained that somebody's stealing his paint.
And you think that Jeff and I would...
Who else?
But why would you think that?
Because the way I see it...
Yes? How do you see it?
Well, I don't know how I see it. All I know is it doesn't make sense. And we better start making some sense around here because we open in a week. Now get rid of that stain. Once and for all, get rid of it.
Do you realize that I have repainted that bloodstain by the fireplace 4 separate times, and each time that meddling American has had it removed?
I should think you'd want to forget it. After all, it's a reminder of why you are doomed to haunt Canterville Castle. Oh, dear, and I with you.
But you are not. You can leave any time you wish, Eleanor.
Oh, Simon, not without you.
Oh, my dear. Was ever man so loved by woman as I by you?
Or I by you.
And yes, I killed you.
Because you loved me.
Well, however you put it, I condemned us both to eternal misery. Well, it shall be misery in peace. For nearly 400 years I've haunted Canterville Castle without hindrance. Yet what that vile upstart has put us through in the past 3 years, tearing down the castle around our heads, building it up again around our heads, and the noise. And now he means to turn it, my castle, into what they call a tourist attraction. Never!
My dearest, what can you do?
That beastly American must be driven out. And his family with him. I know. Let me see what I have in the way of grisly costumes. Yes. I think this should do the trick quite neatly.
Which is it?
Gaunt Gibeon, the bloodsucker of Bexley Moor.
Oh, that's smashing.
Jeff, I won't let you get married till you get a job.
But, Daddy, Jeff doesn't need a job. He has all the money you paid him for Canterville Castle.
Have you? Have you, Jeff?
You know I haven't, Mr. Otis.
But obviously Ginny doesn't. You didn't tell her.
Tell her what, Otis?
Yes, what?
Well, tell her.
Ginny, I'm afraid that just about every cent your father paid for Canterville went to pay off back taxes, liens, mortgages, interest payments, and the Lord only knows what.
Oh, Jeff.
Well, don't you see, that's why I sold Canterville in the first place. I had to. I couldn't keep it up anymore. I had no choice. It was sell or lose everything.
So you see, he's broke. Flat bust.
Now, just a moment. I have the promise of a job, Mr. Otis, a top-flight architectural firm in New York.
The promise of a job. Now, look, Jeff, there'll be no marriage until... What's that?
I don't know.
I'm afraid I do. It's the Canterville Ghost.
The ghost?
Come on, Jeff. Come on now. Aren't these tricks of yours getting just a little childish?
Now, Mr. Otis, believe me, this is no act. It's the real thing. Whenever the ghost moans like this, it means he's going to put in an appearance. And I've seen some of those appearances. Now, Mrs. Otis, Ginny, you'd better come with me.
Oh, where to?
Well, anywhere but here. I'm not afraid of the ghost myself. He's never done me any harm, but his appearance can be positively ghastly. And you'd better not see it, either of you.
No, I'm staying here.
What?
I've been hoping to see him, Jeff.
Hoping to see the ghost?
Yes, Mother.
Oh,
somehow I have a feeling I won't be afraid of him. Don't ask me why. I can't explain the feeling. I just know I won't be.
Of course you won't. Jeff lets you in on his little gag. But I suppose I'm to be scared to death, huh?
Oh, but Daddy, there is a ghost. You've got to believe it.
Look! Oh, my heavens!
Blood! I must have blood!
He's got to be kidding.
When I say blood, I do not mean a drop or two. I mean gallons. For am I not gaunt Gibeon, the bloodsucker of Bexley Moor? Blood!
Blood, my foot. What you need is some oil for those rusty chains. And I just happen to have a can of Otis all-purpose here in this desk drawer.
Cringe, thou knave! Grovel in abject fear before me.
Now, here's that can of Otis oil. Oh, knock off the screaming. You got nothing to scream about, because believe me, this oil will do the trick for those chains of yours.
Leave off! Thou art ruining my chains.
Daddy, stop it. Leave him alone.
And another squirt
Oh,
right
Daddy,
here.
stop it. Give me that can.
Here now.
Leave him alone. Can't you see how unhappy he is?
Oh, now, look, Ginny, any guy tries to pull a gag on
This
me
is no
like
gag, no trick. This is misery. Oh, look at his face. Look into his eyes. He's in agony. I've never felt so sorry for anyone in my life.
You feel sorry for me?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
No one has felt sorry for me in over 370 years.
I do.
Well, you frighten me. Oh, no, you can't be. You couldn't be. No. Not the Golden Girl.
Oh, come on, you two. Stuff it. Nice little act, but just a little creaky in spots.
You clod! You lout! You poltroon! Is it thus you'd taunt a noble lord of Canterville? Hear me, then. I sought but to warn you hence by harrowing up your soul. But there's another way to be rid of you. Death!
No,
No, please, I beg you, don't kill him. Don't.
For thine own sake, then, child, be warned and get thee hence. I am Simon of Canterville, am easy wrought into murderous rage. So be gone. Be gone, be gone.
Do you believe now?
that he's a real ghost?
I sure do.
I guess we'd better do what he wants us to do, Otis. Let's leave the castle.
Oh, no.
Are you saying that you won't do
You bet I am. I paid a fortune for this joint. I'd rather die than see that money go down the drain. Oh, no. I'll tear this damn castle down again, stone by stone, before he gets the satisfaction of seeing me run. You hear that, Buster? Stone by stone.
It certainly appears that for once, for the first time in nearly 400 years, the ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville has met his match. What happens, you may ask, when ancient English ghost meets eyeball to eyeball with modern American business tycoon? We'll learn more when I return shortly with Act 2. Now, really, you know, Sir Simon de Canterville, or rather I should say the ghost of Sir Simon de Canterville, can't be blamed for threatening to kill Hiram Otis. After all, it is his castle, or it was, and, well, how would you feel if you'd lived somewhere for nearly 400 years, only to have someone you'd never seen before threaten to tear the place down, stone by stone? No, you really can't blame him for being in a towering rage.
Eleanor, I shall rend him limb from limb.
Oh, Simon, perhaps we ought to leave the Americans in peace.
Oh, no, no.
Darling, please.
I say no.
Oh, Simon, please. Don't make me speak severely to you.
Severely?
Well, truthfully, it's quite possible you've lost your ability to frighten people.
Lost my ability to frighten people?
Yes, dear. You are but a ghost of your former self.
Just what do you mean?
Well, I very much fear that you're growing stale. And in the parlance of the day, why, you simply can't hack it anymore.
Hack it? Not able to hack it? Me?
Oh, Simon, come now. Were you not reduced to using brute force? You, who through all these centuries have prided yourself on the artistry of your hideous disguises. Why, you failed to frighten a mere mortal. And Simon, an American at that.
Well, he's a clod. Altogether too stupid to have even a semblance of nerves.
Is that thunder?
I think so. It just occurs to me. I've always been at my best during a thunderstorm.
True enough.
And tonight, to judge from that sky out there, will be a night of elemental fury. A perfect background for haunting. I shall outdo myself this night. I shall employ a disguise so horrible, so fiendish. Something guaranteed to drive the churl out of his skull.
What?
Yes, that is the question. What shall it be?
Oh, I have every confidence that you, my sweet, will create a costume that every ghost in England, in the world, would give his winding sheet to possess.
Oh, you are too kind, altogether too kind. But let me think. Aha.
Oh, you have it?
Yes. You, my darling, have given me a thought. Winding sheets. That is the ticket.
A winding sheet?
Of course. I have an excellent one. Very old, very moldy. The one with the frilled cuffs and neck.
But of course, do go on.
I will wear that and take with me my rusty dagger. I shall approach the room moaning and groaning in a most gruesome fashion. When I enter it, I shall stand over them in the form of a green, icy, cold corpse till they're all but paralyzed with fear. And then I shall cast off the winding sheet and crawl around the room with white, bleached bones and one rolling eyeball.
Oh, Simon, dear, you have outdone yourself.
I dare say even you will agree I can still cut the mustard, my dear.
Oh, you can. You have. What of the girl? The American's daughter?
Oh, she must go in peace. I touch her not.
Why so?
Because... Well, my dear, you will scarcely believe this, but not only did I fail to frighten her, but she said she felt sorry for me.
She said that?
Yes. And she looked at me when she said it with eyes... Well, Eleanor, her eyes were filled with sympathy and pity and... Yes, love.
Oh, Simon, could she be the golden girl?
I should like to think so, but I fear not, my love. It's too much to ask. Much too much. But I must to work. The night approaches and the storm. I promise you, that within a few short hours I shall reduce the cold-blooded Hiram Otis to a mindless mess.
Why have you brought me here, Jeff? I've never seen this part of the castle before.
It's a hidden passage, or it once was. As to why I brought you here, well, it seems to me every time I want to be alone with you, your father shows up, or your mother, and... Oh, Ginny, I do want to talk to you.
Yes?
Ginny, marry me.
But, Jeff, dear, I'm going to. You know that?
No, I mean now. Tonight.
Tonight?
Yes, let's get in my car, drive to town, find a justice of the peace, and get married.
But, darling, we don't have a license.
Oh, we'll get one.
How?
I don't know, but we will. I'll manage it somehow.
Jeff, this is the United States, not England. Things are done differently here. And anyway, there's no sense discussing it because I just can't go against my father's wishes.
Oh, you don't have to be afraid of him.
Afraid? Darling, I'm not afraid of him. I love him. I know what you think. That he's hard and domineering and ruthless and a lot of other things. But, you know, inside, he's not that way at all.
Perhaps not. Unfortunately, I only know him from the outside.
But as time goes by, you'll learn to know him better. And you'll see...
Ginny, you're not a child. You're a woman. I need you, Ginny. I want you.
Jeff, please, darling. No.
Ginny,
Oh,
please.
Jeff. Oh,
Blood! I must have blood!
Oh, no, not tonight. Not now.
And when I say blood, I don't mean a drop or two of blood. I mean gallons of blood.
It's him. It's the ghost.
Who else?
Oh, to drive that churl Hiram Otis out of his mind. Oh, misery. Oh, agony. Oh.
You went right by us. He never saw us.
Yes, I know. Now, let's follow him and see what he's up to.
Oh, horror, hideous horror. Hark ye to the horrifying moans of the vampire monk. Oh.
My parents' bedroom. He's gone in there.
Ye to the horrifying moans of the vampire monk or the bloodless Benedictine.
Who's there?
The vampire monk. See, I bend over you, a green, icy corpse. Watch as I crawl around the room with white bleached bones and one rolling eyeball.
Oh, what are you doing on the floor?
Huh?
Oh, why, you're the ghost, aren't you? Well, please now, could you be just a bit more quiet? My husband has had a very tiring day, and he needs a sleep. And you're certainly going to wake him up sooner or later with all that moaning and groaning.
Well, I am a ghost. I'm haunting you.
All right, but please do it quietly.
You lied and ridiculed me, would you?
Oh, but please, you
Then
misunderstand.
pay for it. Aye, woman, pay with thy heart's blood. You've seen your daughter for the last time on this earth. For the last time.
Jeff,
He means me.
No, darling, he can't if he didn't see us following him.
I have seen you. I saw you there in the secret passage, but was too busy with other matters to be bothered with you. I saw you following me. From the back of my head, I saw you. Stand aside, Geoffrey de Canterville. I take your beloved with me into the next world.
Oh, no, you don't.
I warn you. You're a Canterville, and I would do you no harm. But stand in my way, and I will place on you, as I already have on them, the Canterville Curse.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, yes. Stand aside, I say. Stand aside.
Wait.
Yes?
If you wish to take me into the next world, all right, go ahead. But leave Geoffrey alone. Leave my parents alone. Don't harm them.
You would give your life for them?
Oh, Ginny! Geoffrey! She's gone, vanished.
Yes.
What does it mean? Oh, good Lord, what does it mean?
What? What does what mean? What's going on here?
Hiram, that ghost, he's taken Ginny. He's taken her with him into the next world.
Oh, come on now.
It's the truth. In heaven's name, Mr. Otis, wake up to the truth. The ghost of Simon de Canterville has taken Ginny out of this world and into his own. And you'll never see her again. And I'll never see her again.
What the devil are you talking about?
It's the curse of the Cantervilles. The ghost placed the curse on you tonight. Oh, what lies ahead for you, Mr. Otis?
Yeah? What does lie ahead for me?
I can't even begin to tell you. And even if I could, I wouldn't dare.
Strange sort of ghost, Sir Simon de Canterville. At one moment, he's almost gentle, tender, and the next, in a towering rage. He acts almost like us humans, doesn't he? And like us humans, he may have jumped from the frying pan into the fire in abducting Virginia Otis. We'll find out shortly when I return with Act 3. I take you now down a short flight of wide stone steps, somewhere in the nether regions of Canterville Castle. Steps stained by centuries of dampness. It is a place where rats and beetles might scuttle about, in and among the bleached bones of a skeleton which lies on the stone floor. Poor skeleton. One of its hands, manacled, claws towards the remains of a bowl which once held food. A door opens. A light appears on the steps, and Sir Simon de Canterville sweeps down the steps, dragging Virginia Otis after him. He flings her to the floor.
Here lie my bones. Here soon shall lie yours.
He whips a dagger from the case at his side, stoops, grabs her by the hair, and holding her head back, makes as if to plunge the blade into her throat, but he stops short.
How can you look at me like that? Are you not afraid?
No.
You face death, yet you're not afraid.
Do I face death? Will you kill me?
What is to prevent me?
You killed once out of passion and have suffered nearly 4 centuries for it. Would you dare again?
I would.
Well, then, if I'm to die, I suppose I shall. Being afraid wouldn't help matters. But really, I'm not afraid. At least, not of you.
Eleanor was right.
Eleanor?
My wife. She says I don't seem to frighten anyone anymore, that I can't hack it anymore.
Why do you want to?
I'm a ghost. It's my only reason for existing.
It's not a very good reason, if you ask me.
It's no reason at all, if it comes to that. It's simply part of the punishment I must bear for murdering my wife.
The Lady Eleanor?
Yes.
Why did you murder her?
Jealousy. Unreasoning jealousy. I thought her in love with another man. I found out later how wrong I'd been. But it was too late then. I assure you my remorse was so great I hardly struggled at all when her brothers chained me in this dungeon and starved me to death.
And that's your skeleton?
Yes.
Poor skeleton. Poor ghost. You must be very tired.
As only a man who has not slept for nearly 400 years can be. But there'll be no rest for me, never any rest, until the legend of Canterville Castle is fulfilled.
But I didn't know there was a legend. Jeff never told me.
Oh, yes. And when it is fulfilled, then I shall sleep at last in the little garden far beyond the pine woods.
What garden do you mean?
The garden where the grass grows long and deep, where the hemlock flowers are like great white stars and the nightingale sings all night long. All night long he sings, and the cold, crystal moon looks down, and the yew tree spreads its giant arms over the sleepers.
The sleepers? Do you mean the garden of death?
Yes, death. Would you help me if you could? If you could make the legend come true, would you?
Yes. What is the legend?
It is this. When a golden girl can win prayer from beyond the gates of sin, when the barren almond bears and the girl gives away her tears, then shall all the house be still, and peace come to Canterville.
What does it mean?
It means that you must weep with me for my sins, because I have no tears, and pray with me for my soul, because I have no faith. And then, if you have always been sweet and good and gentle, that withered almond tree you have perhaps seen outside the library window.
The barren almond tree, yes.
That tree will bloom again to show.
Yes, to show?
That the angel of death has had mercy on me.
I should like to do that for you.
I know. But you may fail.
Yes.
And if you fail, the torches of the damned will be yours through all eternity. You must dare to go beyond the gates of sin. You will see fearful shapes, hear wicked voices. If you are the golden girl of the legend, you will not be harmed. But if you're not the golden, I tremble for you. Well, what is your answer?
I will do it.
Think. Be sure. Oh, do be sure.
I am sure.
Then turn, and behold the gates of sin. You shrink back. You are afraid.
The shrieks, the laughter.
Worse lies beyond the gates. Far worse. You are afraid. And I am doomed.
No.
You will go for me. You will go beyond the gates of sin.
For you, or any other soul.
And give me your hand. Let me kiss it.
Fingers cold as ice. Oh, but your lips burn like fire.
Soon, perhaps my lips, too, shall be cold. If you are the golden girl. I pray God you are, for your sake more than mine.
You must release my hand now. If I'm to go beyond the gate.
Yes, I know. Only...
Let go. Let go.
Go! No, Virginia! Come back! Come back!
Mr. Otis, there's nothing that can be done. Virginia's gone. Forever.
Hiram, it's all your fault. If we hadn't ridiculed the ghost, if we had just taken him seriously, all this would have been avoided.
I got to admit you're right, Martha. But that doesn't help matters. All I want now is to get Ginny back. Safe and sound.
The girl. Where is she?
She's gone. Gone. I've been a fool. I thought she might be the golden girl, the girl of the legend, and I let her go beyond the gates of sin.
Oh, no. If that be so, I am done with you, Simon.
Oh, no, not you.
Oh, don't touch me. Don't touch me. You're revolting enough to be human.
I tried to stop her at the last moment. I tried. But it was too late. Too late. Too late.
Simon.
The nightingale. Eleanor. The nightingale.
Oh.
It sings. It sings in the garden of death. It sings.
Oh, and the girl, Virginia. Oh, she succeeded. She must have. Simon, look.
Virginia.
Sir Simon.
You've returned. From beyond the gates of sin, you've returned.
Did you think I wouldn't?
Yes, I saw that.
I knew I would. I'd not have gone past those gates if I hadn't felt sure.
Then you are the golden girl of the legend. You are the golden girl.
Are you saved now?
Oh, yes, child, yes. I'm saved. After all these centuries, released. And you're the one who did it. Eleanor, she is the one. What can I do to thank her? What?
What? Oh, Simon, restore her to her own world. What else, dear?
My watch has stopped. What time is it?
It's nearly 3 in the morning.
3 in the morning? I've got a 9 o'clock committee breakfast. Oh, what am I saying? Business. It becomes a habit. My little girl is gone, but my first thought is Oh, God in your heaven, what kind of a man am I?
Oh, Hiram, you're a good man. You just lost yourself in making a living.
Yes. Lost myself in making a living. Yeah. We spend too much of our lives making a living. We should spend more of it living. I guess your ghost knows that, Jeff.
I don't know whether he does or not.
I do.
What was that? I thought I heard... Why, it sounded like Ginny's voice.
Yes, I thought I heard it too.
You did, Jeff. I'm back. I'm here.
Ginny.
Oh, my God.
Ginny.
Oh, it's Ginny. Oh, my baby. My baby.
Where have you been? What happened to you?
No,
Please,
don't ask
darling.
me. Don't ask me that ever again.
Yes, but Ginny...
Daddy, I love you, but please don't, not ever, try to tell me what to do with my life, my soul, again. Let me do what I want to do, what God put me into the world to do.
You sound strange.
No, not strange. Truthful. I've seen what lies beyond this world, beyond us. And we here on this earth, we think that we're the end of everything. And we're really only the beginning. Daddy. Dad. And Mom. And you too, Jeff. There's so much out there that we don't understand. So much.
Ginny, what did you see?
What's that? Not a bird at this hour of the morning.
It's a nightingale, Mother. And come to the window. I'm sure we'll see what I expect to see. Yes. There. Look.
At what, Ginny? At what?
The storm is over now. And the moon, a great white moon, sheds its light over the gardens. Look. The almond tree. The barren almond tree.
Why, it's blossomed. I can see the flowers in the moonlight. And that tree, it's part of the legend. For centuries it hasn't bloomed, and legend said it never would until peace came to Canterville.
And peace has come.
Far away, beyond the pine wood, there is a little garden. There the grass grows long and deep. There the hemlock flowers are like great white stars. And the nightingale sings all night long. All night long he sings. And the cold crystal moon looks down. And the yew tree spreads its giant arms over the sleepers.
Jeffrey?
Yes, Ginny?
He's at peace, Jeffrey. The Canterville Ghost is finally at peace.
This story, this beautiful story, we owe to a man named Oscar Wilde. Perhaps some of you know the tragic details of the last years of his life. Well, no matter. What's important is what he wrote. Almost 100 years ago. Wrote what entertained you in this past hour. And perhaps enlightened you, too. It is better to live than to make a living. I'll be back shortly. Oscar Wilde is buried in Père Lachaise Cemetery, just outside Paris. I visited his tomb. A tomb over which a sad angel with drooping wings weeps. And yes, I bowed my head. Not so much in homage to the man as to the spirit within him. The spirit within all of us. Our own private, very private Canterville Ghost. Our cast included Arnold Moss, Marion Seldes, Mildred Clinton, William Redfield, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
The answer's still the same. No dog, no baby. Just be happy with these dumb plants. They're bad enough. Taking out the whole bloody windows.
I hate you.
Yeah, look, I'll let you keep them.
I hate you. I wish you were dead.
What did you say?
I said I hate you. I wish you were dead.
Did you really say... Hey, what? Hey, what's this? The bloody plants are on my neck. Hey, Barbara, they're all around me. They're choking me. I can't get them off. Hey, Barbara, they're too strong. Barbara, don't stand there. Get them off.
No.
Get the scissors. Barbara, the scissors.
I hate you. I hate you. I want you dead.